Pre stuff. April, if you're there, I'll be right back.
Hi.
Hi, you have a much better internet connection than you had the other day.
Yeah, I used my computer this time. I don't know what happened last time. I was on my phone, but I was closer to my router. I thought that would make a difference. It didn't.
No. Oh, I love this. Such a great connection.
Yeah. So we're having a good conversation today on the Sisters channel.
Yeah, the sisters. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to get to a point where, and I'm trying to get to a point myself where I'm not defined by what I do and all that. But I'm not there personally, and I guess I find it to be, especially with entrepreneurs, a great conversation starter. So it's hard for me not to.
Yeah, that point of commonality.
Yeah.
What's that knocking noise?
You know what it is? It's my microphone, and that hissy thing is the thing that, the screen is banging against the microphone.
Oh, okay.
Glad we cleared that up now.
Yeah. So I created the Sisters channel inside the Slack group, which the Slack group was created because of the Pat Flynn income stream daily Q&A show. So because I don't know, I'm getting to know everybody inside the Slack group. So when did you start following Pat? And
I don't know how many years ago it was.
Years.
It was definitely I'm trying to think if I was still living in my old house, because I'm in this house 4 years in June. It might have been before. And I'm almost positive it was. And I can't remember how I found him. I definitely started listening to podcasts, and somebody recommended Smart Passive Income. And I think I listened. I didn't listen to every single one, but I've definitely listened to a lot of them. And I read his book, because at the time I was writing a book. So I downloaded his guide to self-publish a book, and it was really helpful. And I guess I continued from there. He always amazes me how he always has something new to say, and it's always relevant. It doesn't matter how much time goes by. He's like a fine wine. He keeps getting better and better with time.
So do you watch his Q&A every day?
I don't get a chance to watch it every day. It's right because I'm on the East Coast, it's right in the middle of the day for me. And I do when I can. How did you find him?
My husband. That's how I find everybody.
Yeah. Do you you guys have a business together?
Yeah, this is net friending. That's he's putting comments up on the screen.
I see that. I was impressed because I thought you were doing that. I was like, wow, you don't even.
Oh no, I did that too. But we both have control, so sometimes he just pops things up, and
it makes more sense that he's doing it.
Yes. So the Q&A show every day comes on at 11 Eastern, because I'm on East Coast too,
right.
And I'm working from home, so I will go check it out if I don't have a conference call, and right. I get all wrapped up in it. And even better than what Pat Flynn is doing and saying
is the chat box, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying that.
It scrolls so fast. I'm like, it makes me dizzy.
Yes. Yeah. I have to just take a deep breath sometime to be like, you don't have to catch everything, or I can scroll back up.
Mm-hmm. So the Slack group was created, I guess, as a result of Pat's daily Q&A.
Yes.
So have you connected? I think it was somebody, it might have been you, said they connected with Karma Cash Flow. Were you one?
Yes. I was talking to somebody else who had connected with Karma today also. We both had calls with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a lot of great connections coming out of that group.
Definitely. I've only been in it for 2 days, and I can't believe how many connections I've made. People have helped me with my website, and we were talking about mailing lists and ConvertKit or not to ConvertKit.
So ultimately, what is it that you're doing that all this Pat stuff, I'm going to call it Pat stuff, resonates with you? What are you wanting to get out of it?
I'll take you back in time. In 2010, I was laid off, and I said to myself, all right, I'm not going to get down on myself. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to ask, all right, what do you want from me now, universe? And within a week, the place where I was teaching yoga, the woman says, after 8 years, I'm done. I'm selling. And I was like, all right, I'll buy this business. And she had basically run it into the ground. 2 years, no website. She didn't even have a sign on the building. And I'm like, I know I can do this. And I did. I had it for 3 years or so, and I turned it around. I sold it for 6 times what I paid for it. And in the course of that, I developed a course to help people. I had suffered for a long time with panic attacks, and it was a long journey back, but yoga definitely helped with that, my practice. And so I developed this course to help other people to use yoga and meditation to help them heal from panic disorder. And I used to run a live workshop in my studio. And it was super successful, but it got hard to do after a while, when I didn't have the studio anymore, then just trying to negotiate with other studios and getting in, and the pricing, and it just got to be too much of a hassle. And really long term, I didn't want to be jogging all over the world trying to do the course. It's not an efficient use of my time, and I'm an efficiency girl. And that was when really the start of passive income started, where people were like, why travel all over the world doing courses when you can just make a course online and sell it passively? I'm like, that's a great idea. And then I also felt like I could reach more people. And so that's when I started getting into passive income. And that's when I found Pat's podcast, and I was going to make a course. And so I said to myself, well, first I'm going to write a book about it, which I did. And I'm like, that'll give you more credibility, because isn't that what happens? You start doing this, and then all these ideas start happening, and different people have different opinions. And sometimes you can suffer from information overload. And it's just like, the indecision paralysis. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where I got. I finished writing the book, and then I said, what am I doing here? and I decided I was at a point in my life where I said, because I started reading about lists and talking to people about quality of life. And it's one thing to make money. And Karma and I were talking about this today. And I've realized that that time was more important to me than making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And I'm always working so hard, and I have a job, but then I start a side hustle. And so then I'm always busy. And I'm like, what am I doing? So at that point in my life, it was right before my daughter was going to leave for college. And my kids are 2 years apart age-wise, but they're 1 school year apart. And I'm like, they're going to be gone. And within a year and change, they're both going to be gone. And what am I doing? I'm going to be running myself into the ground, building a business. Or I could stop and put this on hold and choose just to be with them, going to baseball games and concerts and Netflix binging, and spending the time with my children while I still can. The business will be there when I get back. And that's what I did. That was about 2 years ago. Now both my kids are in college, and I'm back.
Did you put your course on Udemy, or was there another platform you used?
No, I was to the point where I'd finished the book and I was ready to publish it, and it just didn't feel right. Like I wanted to rework it, and I ran out of steam. And that's what I said, you know what? When the time is right, it's going to fall into place. This is not the right time. And I didn't even, I have the course all outlined, and I never got to the point where I even put it on anything. So
here you are with all these people in the Slack group pouring into you now. Do you feel like now's the right time?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And
there's a one-liner for that. Self-help is good.
But other people help is great. Oh, I like that.
You're on mute, Roy.
Okay, sorry. Hi, Deb.
Hello.
Okay, I'm kind of settled now, so I was a little bit behind doing the things behind the scenes. Usually I kind of sort of produce. That's what I want to do. I want to be behind the scenes. I'm voice only. I'm the voice of Net Friending. She is the face of Net Friending, and we've been doing this for the last 4 years. We met online. She yelled out at me. Okay, she didn't yell. She just said in text from the live studio audience, I was a guest on someone else's podcast or live stream, and she said, "Hey, Roy, I think we're separated at birth." And I looked, who said that? April Roga. Hey, April, you want to do a meet and greet on Skype after this show, like 20 minutes from now? And she said, if my son doesn't need my help, I will. She was all like, she said she was intimidated by me because she'd heard me speak before, like 2 weeks prior. She was kind of following me around to all the different rooms because I spoke her language. She'd been looking for someone to go a little deeper than the average bear in her life. April, you want to continue that story? Because that's what you were doing. You were doing the self-help, and you weren't going anywhere because you could only go so far in your brain, right? And then when you got other people help, like mine and other people's, it just made all the difference in the world. And Deb, I'm hearing that's what you're like looking to transition into, to find other people that have maybe the same perspective, different perspective, complementary perspective, and go, hey, Deb, have you ever thought about this? Deb, have you ever thought about that? And you're going like, whoa, no, I haven't. So now I'm inspired. Now I want to do it. And I'll check in with you guys and let you know how I'm doing because I need to get my body of work out there. It's time. Is that kind of what you're feeling, Deb?
That is 100% where I'm at right now. And I actually started, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Marie Forleo.
Oh, of course. Hello.
Every year she runs that B school, and I've been looking at it for a few years, and I'm like, big price tag. Is it really worth it? And really the reason why I did it this year is because I needed a tribe. I had done a mastermind group a couple of years ago with like 4 of the people, and it just crashed and burned. And we were all at the same place going nowhere. And so I was looking to get like that tribe back again, where people could like give ideas. I have ideas, and I thought I could get that in B school, but I'm not on Facebook, and all the people were connecting on Facebook. There was no connection whatsoever. So I ended up getting my money back. I'm like, this is not for me, and I'm like, let me just be quiet, and that's part of what I talk about, what I believe in. When the time isn't right, you keep running up against walls. And when the time is right and you're quiet, all the things like you can see all the guideposts. And so I was just quiet, and suddenly Pat Flynn started doing a live stream every day. I'm like, all right, I love Pat. I'll start watching. And then all of a sudden I could see with that chat, like April was saying, the chat is what makes that whole thing.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden it's like I was connecting with people, and I started talking, and I'm like, these people are like me. And then when the Slack group came along, I'm like, it's kismet.
I want to go a little deeper into that if you don't mind. I know that your main or primary reason for joining us tonight, you joined us the other night and there was a bad connection. So,
yeah.
But at least you showed up, and that, what is it? 80% of success in life is just showing up. So if you just show up and you show up with the right people, Jim Rohn says, if you hang out with these 5 people the most, you'll be the average of them. So be careful who you hang out with. I want to get back to what you said about Marie, about B School, all of that, you being a part of it, you not being on Facebook, they're on Facebook. I just want to bookmark that because there's a lot there. Okay. So then you go to YouTube. So obviously you're on YouTube. Now, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel.
Okay, awesome. Are you posting at least once a week? Like a video? Okay.
I actually do post a lot of what I post. I lecture math. I teach at 2 colleges, and a lot of what I'm doing on my YouTube channel is actually unlisted because because I just post it for my students.
You're accidentally hitting something or moving something because we're hearing your mic. We're just getting a lot of feedback from that. If you have a towel, if you have some piece of cloth or anything, just put it underneath the mic, underneath the stand. like April is showing you right there. So she's got that little spongy cloth because
Oh,
that will certainly absorb all of the noise that may be you hitting up against the table or whatever is going on
okay.
there.
I
Just
have
just
it.
letting you know, I'm the producer
Okay.
guy, so I get to say this kind of stuff. Listen, Deb, I already love your energy. I love
Too.
where you are in life, how you're explaining yourself. You're very personable. I can tell you're probably very open. If I ask you, are you married? Do you have any kids? What's your outlook for the future? You're not going to
I'm in for
say,
the
oh,
book.
what do you want to know for? I'm going to probably be listening to you for the next 8 minutes. Yeah, I have two children or four children. Here are their names. Here's what they're doing. They're in college, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going, okay, Deb, thank you. I just wanted you to know, are you married and do you have any kids? So I think you're that type of a person. I'm all about personality types. I'm all about what's your natural bent. I'm all about figuring out to the best of my ability who you are. And then I ask you, is this who you are? And then I want to play up to that bent. Okay, I'm very flexible. I love people. I didn't always, up until my 38th year on the planet. I was the shyest person on the planet. I really was. And then,
For real. I wish you would pause after you say that so that whoever's here can go, really?
really? It just goes to show you when the right person enters your life and pours the right amount of information into you. I only knew this lady 1 month. She poured that into me, and within the next few weeks, she was out of my life. It was almost like an angel came and just gave me some God wisdom, and I just said, this makes so much sense. Nobody's ever poured into me like this. I'm going to do it. And so this is what I want to help other people with. And when April entered my life 4 years ago, she was kind of stuck. She's an only child. Her mom was not very loving towards her, always wanted to control her, treated her like a 3-year-old when she was 43 years old. And April just kind of, she just kind of swallowed it, just, kind of didn't buck the system. She just walked on eggshells with her mom. And then I entered her life, and like a couple years later, she ended up dying of cancer. And her dad had cancer at the same time, but he lived, and now he's not talking to her, and she's an only kid. So, yeah, she doesn't have any close family. And so when I came into her life, it was just fast friends, and then, I helped her with this issue and that issue.
Each other, and it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was, as you said, I think you used the word kismet earlier. So listen, here's what I believe. I believe that a person, any person on the planet, their next chapter in life, their next season in life, their next level in life is a person or a group of people. And I think I'm not going to use the word stumbled into it with Pat's tribe, his team, as he likes to call them, and the interaction and inter blank, whatever that happens to be, because I love interpersonal relationships just like this, getting to know one another. I'm not about networking. Hey, can you help me with this thing and help me with that thing? Because that's what you need help with. Your blog is not, or your website is not interactive with mobile, is what I understand, and you're not quite understanding why. It's not, rendering completely this, that, and the other thing. And so I asked you to just jump in a seat because I'm the kind of guy that says, let's have a back and forth. I ask you a question, you answer the question. Otherwise, just giving a general answer is not very good. So I don't know if you got an answer from anybody in the group that was able to help you or not, but we certainly want to do that. So we want to get to that. But also at the same time, we want to get to know you and find out if we have anything in common and how we can help each other with what we have in common, because that's really the way to go. And if we don't, let's not waste any time force riping this relationship. Let's just, part ways now, because I think a lot of people do spend, not invest, time with people because they see something in them. Oh, I can get this, I can take that, or whatever, and then they kind of force ripe the relationship, and it's icky. I get the icky vibe. April gets the icky vibe, and we will tell you to your face, okay, this is not working. This is icky. Bye.
He'll tell you to your face. He'll tell you. I still walk on eggshells a little bit.
Gotcha.
She up until last week, and I think it's dissipated a lot. She says it's gone. I want to believe her. She was walking with this syndrome. You might have heard of it, called imposter syndrome. Deb, have you ever heard of it? Have it?
We all suffer from imposter syndrome at some point. He never did?
No.
Really?
No, I always knew who I was. I just didn't speak up and say it until somebody gave me permission. I thought I would be better served not saying anything because, yeah, a lot of people don't resonate with what I have to say. I'm very blunt, Deb. I will tell you, if you have spaghetti or spinach between your teeth,
I
where other
appreciate
people
that.
won't. Yeah, I'm that kind of guy. I'll say that. It's like, you might want to, go check that, or whatever, because I would want that person to do this for me. I want people to challenge me. When I believe a lie, when I'm going down the wrong path, I want somebody to speak up and go, hey, Roy, I want to challenge you on what you believe and where you're going and this and that. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And I never want to give people advice because they don't want advice. What they want is another perspective. So, you'll hear me say stuff like, Deb, have you thought about this? And then the answer is yes or no. And then usually the person says, no, Roy, I've never thought about that. And I go, okay, maybe you should. And then they either do it or not. It's totally up to them, right? So people think that I can hurt their feelings. They say, Roy hurt my feelings. It's like, no, that's cognitive dissonance. So, Deb, are you familiar with cognitive dissonance?
Explain it to me, and then I'm going to give you my perspective on that.
So when you believe a lie and I come around and tell you the truth, then you're going to have pain in your blank everywhere. And then it's going to feel like Roy hurt your feelings because I'm telling you something that you know is true now, but you believe the lie, and then you have a hard time having two diametrically opposed thoughts within the same thought. So you can't have A and not A at the same time. It's illogical. But yet you feel that because you believed a lie for so long, because somebody in your life poured into you the first 7 years of your life that was true, and nobody in your circles ever told you it wasn't. And then a guy like me comes along, or somebody like April now, April 2.0 comes along and shares, why do you believe that? And then there's that pain that you feel in your gut, in your head, in your heart. And it's just God letting you know that, hey, there's something amiss here. Just like when you put your hand on a stove, you feel pain. So stop doing that, right? And then things will be good. So that's basically cognitive dissonance. I know there's so much written about it on the internet, but just to hone it, when you hold two diametrically opposed beliefs to be true, that's when you get this pain and feeling in your essence, in your gut. Go ahead, Deb.
So because sometimes it's I'll give you two stories. I took a course where he talked about the horse and the rider, and he's saying when you're riding the horse, the rider has to be in control. So let's say when you go to work, you just have a straight path from point A to point B, and so you just get on the horse and you teach the horse that here's point A to point B. But then you start working in a different place, and you have to go halfway to point B, but then you have to make a hard right halfway and then go to point C, because that's where your new job is. Well, the horse is going to give you grief about it. Horses are very habit forming, and he just wants to go from point A to point B, but you're not going to let him, because then you're not going to get to work. And so you have to first train the horse. You have to he's going to buck, and eventually you make him make the right. And after about a week or so, the horse realizes, oh, this is the new way to go. So halfway there, he knows to make the hard right, and then he goes to point C. So it's the same kind of thing. It's that dissonance where the horse at first, when you have to make the change, how he has to make the right, but then eventually he adjusts to it. And I think that's kind of a similar situation.
I love that. I never heard that. That makes perfect sense. April, what do you think about that?
I get it, but the cognitive part, I think of a horse, and I think, does a horse think cognitively?
Well, don't we get into habits where we just and then we stop thinking? Once we get used to something, we don't think about it. It just becomes ingrained. And we have to change, in order to change our thoughts and have something feel right. We have to cognitively change. And there's that dissonance first, but then we adapt.
So when you have a person in place of the horse, what would that person with cognitive dissonance do? How can they get better? How can they?
Because sometimes you have to force yourself to do what feels wrong. So what
if you can't?
Well, then that's how we get stuck. But like Roy's saying, when he comes in with his opinion, and he comes in and makes that new thing, and it really is the right thing for that person to do, it feels wrong for them to do it at first. But then when they start doing it, then it eventually feels right. It becomes the new habit and the new right, the new norm.
Right.
I think I understand that. I've never heard that analogy, but I like it. And the more that I hear the two of you unpacking it, so I have a flea story.
Well, you didn't hear Pat tell the flea story yesterday?
I think so. He was using three things, right? He was using a giraffe, a turtle, and a flea. Was
A
that
flea. Yeah, the
was
flea
that
I
it?
story.
don't remember the animals. I just remember the flea.
So, okay, so I'll tell you the flea story. So the first flea story I ever heard is Zig Ziglar. He was my first original mentor. You remember cassette tapes? Deb, I think you remember
Unfortunately,
cassette
yes.
tapes. Yeah, I'm up there. I was born in the late 50s, 57, so I'm 63. So I remember cassette tapes, going to the library and listening to, a whole series of all these motivational speakers, and Zig Ziglar was my favorite. So he says, "Do you know how to train a flea?" And today, there's another story like that for an elephant. How do you train an elephant? And basically, it's the same process, but I'll use a flea because we can all do it. And he says, okay, so you take a flea and you put it in a jar, a glass jar, where you can look through the jar, see the flea jump, but make the jar like short enough that the flea can actually jump out. Watch the flea jump out, you put it back in, and then you put the lid on. So now what happens is that the flea will want to jump out, but hit its head against the lid. And it'll do it just a few times until it realizes, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get out. This hurts, blah, blah, blah. So now when you realize that the flea is jumping but no longer hitting the lid, you can now take the lid off and your flea is trained. Because although your flea can jump out of the jar, it doesn't because it's been trained and it recognizes this. Now, the same thing with an elephant. When the elephant is small, you chain it up, big chain, everything else to tie it to a stake, like for example, a circus or what have you. And then you just keep doing it. And the elephant gets conditioned. And then when the elephant gets big, then you just put a light little rope on it with a stake. And even though the elephant can break free because it's so much stronger, it won't because it's been conditioned. And that's the same thing with us. I listened to a person named Bruce Lipton. He's a neurobiologist, and his understanding of the unconscious mind, subconscious mind is amazing. And so he says the first 7 years of our life, we just watch people around us. And basically we're being hypnotized into believing things. And so if the people around us, our caretakers, our parents, our teachers, our friends, aren't wise enough to know certain truths, you'll never know it. And now it gets ingrained into your subconscious. And from then on, you're going to just show up every day and by osmosis or sleepwalking, as I like to say, on autopilot, you just go through the same motions as you did when you were ages 1 through 7. And then when people challenge you in school and college and beyond, that's how you grow. And you go, oh, well, I wasn't taught this. Oh, you mean the world isn't flat? Oh, okay. Well, my parents believe that, that kind of thing. So when we get to our age, April's, mine's, yours, and we start doing this new stuff called internet marketing or digital marketing, and it's like, here's what people are saying in university for getting an MBA, or you go to Marie Forleo and she's doing an online MBA, and then you hear Pat, and then you hear people that are not Pat, and who do you listen to, for good's sakes? And you just gravitate to the people that sound good for you because, oh yeah, I like what she did or I like what he did. And then you really get into the trenches, right, Deb? And then all of a sudden you go like, oh wait, this isn't for me. No, I can't do this. Can I have my money back, please?
And it takes a lot to be able to listen to your gut and say, you know what, this isn't for me, because it's easier. And especially when you're in that imposter syndrome mentality to say, oh, well, it's Pat Flynn, it's Marie Forleo, they're uber successful, so therefore what they say must be. And I don't know if people have been involved with International Business Mastery, or whatever the name of their IBM was. It's that place where Pat originally went. And
yes, I know the one you're speaking of. Kerry Wilkerson went there too. I don't think April's familiar with it. Yeah, that was back in like late 2000s, 2007, 2008, 2009. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And because of Pat, I was like, well, they must be great, because he chatted them up and they taught him everything he knew about passive income. And honestly, I thought their stuff was terrible. It was all over the place. We made, you could tell that they made this in 2005 and this sometime later, and they never updated and put everything together. And they were just selling a subscription where you just pay monthly. They give you all the content at once. And I and a lot of other people that I met on a Facebook page, we all found it to be like terrible. And
it's not you. Yeah, it's not you.
But
It's
to
not
be
you.
able, it's hard to. I think sometimes when somebody recommends something, like if Pat talks about it, oh, it must be great, and to separate yourself from that and say, well, maybe it is for some people, but it just isn't for me, and I need to just. It's better if I break free from this.
I love that, Deb, because that's wisdom that you have. Some people learn by doing the wrong thing all the way through, but you're wise enough, or you have that small still voice inside that says peace, no peace. You had peace. I'm paying $2,000. And then all of a sudden I don't have peace because now I'm in the trenches. This isn't at all what I imagined it to be.
Right.
Even though so many people say this is the thing for them. But here's the thing, Deb, we're not them.
Right.
We're not them. And some of the ways that I learned, April's going like, I can't do it that way. It's like we are just, like oil and vinegar, and we just can't mix in this thing. So, but other things, the way I've done it. Yeah, go ahead, April.
I think, Deb, you mentioned earlier that tell Roy why you left Facebook.
Oh, that's right, because we were talking about it on Slack today. For a number of reasons. Because when I joined Facebook originally, I was able to see all the people that liked my business page. And if I wanted to personally invite somebody to an event and they hadn't been on my mailing list, but they were interacting with me on Facebook, I can just send them a direct message and say, hey, just want to let you know I'm having this workshop today, or I'm running a special or something, and just connect with people also who haven't been in the studio in a while. And then it got to a point where Facebook decided, oh, no, you don't need to know who your people are that like your page. That's proprietary to us. And then it's like, oh, who sees your post? We have an algorithm. We'll decide for you who gets to see your posts, personal and business. And I'm like, well, that's kind of bullshit because I want to be able to decide that it's my business, it's my people. Let me deal with that. And it didn't. And they changed my privacy settings without my knowledge. I found out all of a sudden my cell phone was made public. My birthday, they changed. They decided, oh, we're going to release it. Like it's not unlisted. And I really had a problem with that. And then when the Cambridge Analytica thing came along, I'm just like, you don't have to ask me twice. I'm gone.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back, as the saying goes.
Yes, literally.
And you mentioned something about the Facebook ads and the targeting of that.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. It's they kept changing the interface, even how to set up a Facebook ad, and it just kept getting more complicated. And it was really difficult to try and figure out how to pick the people that I wanted to target. And it was like, well, okay, we'll try this. And then I would. And $100 later, we'll hear 3 people. And then it was just too expensive to tweak it. It was all it was all at my expense. It was trial and error.
So at that point, did you feel that Facebook was in control and you were not?
Absolutely.
Did you know that you could have control if you want to?
Probably, but I just got to a point where, again, with the whole privacy thing, it just wasn't working for me. And I said in the moment I was taking a stand, and I'm not totally averse to being on it again, but just in that time, it was definitely the right decision for me.
Okay, so if cognitive dissonance happens, then I've warned you. You have been warned, Deb.
Okay.
So many things on what you just said. So the first thing I want to ask you is, did you find a Facebook replacement? Yes or no?
No, because that was around the time that I walked away and pressed pause on having a business, building a business altogether.
Okay. So do you know that there is now a replacement for Facebook in the way that you wanted to use it? They wouldn't let you, they were in control, and now you're going to go like, oh, this platform here lets me be in control the way I want to be, or are they similar to Facebook?
Is there something that's like Facebook, or is it Facebook 2.0 where they're finally giving you more control again?
Are you on LinkedIn?
I am on LinkedIn.
So do you find that better than Facebook?
I haven't really done. I've only really been starting up again in the past couple of months. I'm still in the exploratory stages in a lot of aspects of my business.
So, like a good doctor or a physician, when you come to see him because you have a knee issue, you say, "Doc, my knee hurts," and so I'm going to ask you some exploratory questions, and then I'm going to prescribe something.
Okay.
So Dr. Roy has done his exploratory thing with you, and I know exactly where you are. Okay. So I've been on the internet long enough to understand things about people if I ask them the right questions, and they're super honest with me, which I know that you are. At least I believe you are. So, Deb, are you being super honest with me? Yes or no?
Right. And being super honest with you.
Awesome. I love it. So, Deb, here's what I want to say. This is my perspective of your perspective of what you don't know.
Okay.
So, let me start with where everybody is, including myself. I will say it in such a way that it sounds fun, funny, and fruitful, hopefully. But if it sounds like double talk, then tell me it does, and then I will let April explain it to you because sometimes I need a translator.
Fair enough.
So Deb, would you agree with me that you don't know what you don't know?
I agree with you on that.
Deb, would you agree with me that you will never use Google to search for that which you don't know to search for?
That it will never use Google.
So you will never use Google to search
Is that
for
your?
that.
Is that are you trying to get into my personality mind again?
No, I just want you to answer this question. So, do you use Google?
I do. Well, technically, I use Start Page, but I guess that's a version of Google.
Okay, so you use Google to search for things.
Yes.
If you don't know what you don't know about a thing, then you use Google to search more about that thing, even if it's a person. Is that correct?
By and large, yes.
Okay.
I use other things. I'll use Twitter sometimes as well.
Sure. But I just want to know if you use Google because Google's the main
Okay.
search engine. Okay. So if you don't know what you don't know, then Google's not going to do you any good.
That's true, because if you don't know the keywords to search on,
If you don't know what you don't know and you don't know what to search for, then you're never going to search for it. Are you with me?
True. Okay.
Yes. Good. So therefore, the only way that you are going to learn, discover, uncover what you don't know is through another person who does.
Okay.
Another person knows what you don't know, and they will tell you, like what I'm doing here, what April's doing here. You're joining our show. This is a collaboration and a co-creation for all the people that are following Pat on his daily show and beyond, because I've been following Pat since around 2008, 2009 when he first got started. So I know his story with his architecture and the book and everything else. So
Right.
I understand where Pat's coming from, and I understand what Pat's doing these days. And because of this worldwide pandemic, people are coming together in ways that we've never come together before.
Right.
But I've been doing this for 2.5 decades. And what is this? Connecting with people where they are. I want to find out what you don't know about what you want to do. And then I will say, well, have you considered this? Or have you thought about that? Because what I'm hearing is you want to put a book out there. Is that true?
Well, actually, I'm in analysis paralysis right now.
Well, thanks for admitting that.
Because I'm between a book and a course, because originally I had the course that I wanted to put online that's based on the book. I wrote the book first because I feel like the book is going to give me credibility. And then when I got the book done, I didn't make the course partially because I started to become interested in an aspect of it, which is where Change Your Words comes from. It's a piece of the Yoga to Heal Panic program.
All right, so let's dive into that for a second, because I think this is where you're kind of sort of iffy. You might not be stuck.
I can't decide if I want.
You have a flag.
Right.
You have a flag. It might not be in your hand. It might be in your closet, and you probably have to rubbage to get the flag so that you can plant it. But I'll help you with that. I'll find out where that flag is.
Okay.
So you want to plant your flag somewhere. Is that true?
Oh, this is absolutely true.
Right. And so right now you're on the fence or the middle of the road. Mm-hmm. And so what you're doing is you're just kind of sort of in search mode. You believe that every day when you wake up and you visit this tribe of people or that tribe of people, and right now your main person is Pat Flynn, on the heels of Marie Forleo, and who knows who it was before then, and you went with Jeremy and the IBM and everything else. So
I'm loose.
Yeah, you're kind of like, I don't know who's my peep. But I like what this peep is saying. Right, yeah, go ahead.
I can't really find who my peep is until I feel. until I really get a direction. Nobody's going to have answers for me until I decide on a direction. And that's, do I finish the panic and take that to completion, get the book completely finished, put the course together so that I finish something and I don't have a half finished project? Or do I say, that's really maybe not my calling anymore, and just kind of put that on the shelf, maybe never to be seen again, and just follow what I feel has always been my passion, which is the change your words, helping people use the words as efficiently as possible to get results.
And I love that, because that's where I overlap with you. You can ask April. Language is everything to me.
Yes.
When you listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, they're very much directional. I love that you said that, because before you can even set a goal, you have to set a direction.
Absolutely.
If I'm going from California to New York, or New York to California, it doesn't matter how many goals I set. I want to drive 80 miles in an hour. So I want to drive 800 miles every day and then sleep the rest. It's like, okay, good. But what is your direction? Are you going from California in a north, south, east, west direction? What, right? So I love the fact that you already know, set a direction.
Yeah.
And then set your goals.
I need to plan first.
I love that.
And so, before we go, I just want to quick tell you the other thing that I was going to tell you before I told you the horse and the rider story. You were saying about, he's hurting my feelings, and so is making me feel this.
Yeah.
Part of my change your words philosophy is nobody has, it goes back to the John Denver song, that sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Really, the sun does nothing but shine. The sun can't make you feel anything. You can't hurt my feelings. I choose, because what you say to me, and what you could say the exact same thing to April, but how we choose to process it, she might be pissed and I might be like, oh, cool, thanks. But you said the exact same words with this exact same body language. We choose how we feel.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let April take over, because I know. Okay, so we do this thing called Blab.
Yeah. We do.
Babe, put it up on the screen for Deb to take a look at it visually. So I don't know how you learn, if you're an auditory learner, visual learner, or both, or one. Okay, so we've come up with this acronym that we did this together because we're totally into body language.
Okay.
And then we started saying, body language online is different than body language in person, because you can't see the whole torso, you can't see the feet and everything like that. So when we talk about alpha males and females, feet are important when there's a group of people that are networking. They're all pointing at the alpha person. And I can tell you in the group, without even hearing a word, who is the alpha person, male or female. And that's not what I'm talking about when I say body language. That's outward body language. That's part of it, but very little. When I say body language, I mean inward body language, what you say, the language that you use, the language that you don't use, how you get offended, when you get offended, why you get offended, whether you have the right understanding of what it even is that you said you're offended by, right? So body language 2.0 and beyond, I just love what I heard you say, and I'm going to let April blab you, #blab you, that's blab with a 2 in the middle first, and then ask you, is this true, Deb? And then I'll come behind her and add my take on the answer to this question. How is Deb showing up in the world for April? That's what she's going to say right now. And then I'm going to do for me, because like you just said, I may say something, but the two of you internalize it completely different because of your history and your thinking, stinking thinking, junk in the trunk, or that good aromatic flavor that you've already been through all of that and you understand nobody can hurt your feelings. April, you first.
April, your face is just priceless. Go.
That's body language right there. Wait, Deb, go a little bit more. Go a little bit more on that. When you said priceless, what do you mean? Were you able to read her?
Well, because you started making this. I am. Thanks for speaking.
Like what? Is it? You want me to do what? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
No,
she'll do it though.
I barely shook my head or anything. I'm very animated. I guess I am. So just from the moment you took a seat with us tonight, because the other night when you joined us, I guess because of the technology issues, you looked a little like freaked out from where I sat.
I was harrowed because I couldn't understand what people were saying. The connection was so bad. I was catching like every fifth word. I'm like, I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, so I had no real idea, and it's hard to tell in text what a person's going to be like, how they receive you. But just from the moment you showed up tonight, and the fact that you showed up at all says a lot. Just your energy precedes you. It's just, and then you're just so free and open. And Roy said all that earlier, so I'm not saying anything he didn't say. But as far as what you're sharing about the power of words and how they're used and how you think about them is so in alignment with everything that we talk about. He's very intentional about the words that he uses. Therefore, I am too, because I learned it from him. And that's where now that you talk to Roy, where I got this whole thing in our Slack group where I said, we don't want to know what you do. We want to know who you are, because my whole mindset has changed in my 2.0 version of myself. I just don't think the same way I used to, because words, I actually think about things before they come out of my mouth, except for right now, because now I sound like a bumbling, stumbling fool because that guy put me on the spot that I don't have. And
Okay, so go here. So I'll help you because this is what I do.
Help me.
So even if you don't have anything together in words, indeed, anything that Deb may have said, you go like, oh wow, me too. Just
Indeed.
the body language 2.0 and beyond part. Do you have energy with her? Do you have synergy with her? Do you have chemistry with her? Is it an 8 or higher on your scale? Because if it's not, if you have low this or low that, or you're missing 2 of the 3 legs, then I say stop the relationship right now. Don't force ripe it and move on to the next person. So
sorry, Deb, you gotta go. No, I'm just kidding.
So energy. Explain that. What do you see? What do you feel? Right? Because let me go and do my Maya Angelou one-liner. I love this one. So Deb, I don't know if you're a Maya Angelou fan or not, but she says a lot of really cool things, and this is one of my main ones. She says, and I'm going to personalize it. Roy, Deb's going to forget what you said. Roy, Deb's going to forget what you did. But Roy, Deb's never, ever going to forget how you made her feel. Not that I can make you feel anything, so let me just jump in there and say this, because I can't make you feel anything, but here's what I can do. I can give you some word pictures and give you an environment and a culture that's safe and free for you to just say anything, or make that environment and culture so dangerous for you that you don't say anything. And that's totally up to me, and or you can course correct me and say, wait a second, that environment you just painted for me, I'm not into that. How about this? And then I can make a new decision. Notice I didn't say change my mind. I can make a new decision based on your new information, and I can go, oh my goodness, Deb, I'm so glad you said it, because I'm such a blank that I didn't want to say it first because I thought that, blah, 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 and I have all that chatter. So I just wanted to say that part right there. So April, you have all of that. It's an 8 or higher, on a scale of 1 to 10 with the energy, synergy, and chemistry. So tell Deb what you're feeling. I went through all of that to go the feeling that you get, because April is such an empath. She feels like if you're like in pain and in torture, Deb, she'll feel it. I already know this.
I will cry.
Big time. So go with the energy, synergy, chemistry, and then tell Deb. And then Deb, you tell her before I get into my spiel, because I want to know if you feel it with her too, because it's important.
All right. I'm a bit of an empath too. I feel other people's pain also. So
yeah, that's nice. Awesome. Are you familiar with?
She commented on my my body language when I was like, "You want me to do what?" And I didn't even say anything. She's totally an empath.
Okay, so quick question, just yes or no, and we'll go later, because I zag like that when I get triggered. You just triggered me, Deb. Deb, are you an alpha? Yes or no?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, good. So April, please. Again, the synergy, energy, chemistry. It's above an 8. What would you say? Like a 9, because you don't know her that well. So 9 all the way across, 8 all the way across. What would you say? And then we'll turn it over to Deb. And what does that mean? How do you feel, Deb? Do you feel like Deb can be like one of your best buds? You can call her up 2 o'clock in the morning and cry on her shoulder, or you're like, "Woo, I can't do that, but maybe I can break bread with her, or ask her for advice, or ask her for her perspective instead of advice about some of the deeper issues of life that I'm going through."
I forget what synergy is. Can you please give me your
When you
definition?
put two forces together, can they walk and agree together? The synergy, the agreement. Can you walk agreed, or are you like stumbling all over the place? Like, I don't agree with you, but we got to go here together. Go ahead, Deb.
I want to
Just
give
a
a different version of synergy. When you put two things together and you get more than the sum of the two parts.
Yes, you're better together.
Yeah.
Not worse. And if you're worse, then there's no synergy whatsoever. You're just bumbling and fighting and not agreeing and wanting to force right this relationship when you shouldn't. And a lot of people are doing that.
So energy 9, synergy 8, chemistry 9. Do I have to tell you why?
Yeah, just quickly, just surface wise. Okay. We don't have to go too deep.
So just the 9s are just because I just met her and I'm just like reserving that little bit just in case.
Right. There's a little bit of improvement in all of us, of course. I mean, even if you think you're perfect, you're not.
Right.
You're perfectly imperfect.
And synergy, I don't know what I don't know yet. So because that's so key, especially in what we're doing, to know if you're like really in alignment and you could that we go the distance with each other. You need time to figure that out.
Yeah, that remains.
So, right, you need time to figure it out. I agree with that. So, just off the top of my head, do you see yourself? Do you see doing a show like this, a live stream? We call it a TV 2.0 talk show about the topic that both of you agree on. You're both very versed in it, or versed enough to do a show once a week, once a month, with each other for half an hour or an hour. Do you see that as a possibility? Just yes or no, April?
Yes.
Okay, so then that's what the synergy part is. And Deb, what about you? Do you see yourself possibly doing a show about a common topic that you both know a lot, half an hour to an hour, once a month, once in a while, whatever, with April?
Yeah,
yes or no?
I feel comfortable. I feel like we could do that.
Okay, so awesome. So that's what I mean about the synergy part. So good. We got the Deb part on the synergy. What about the chemistry? How well you see each other. It's like, oh my goodness, I just see her as such a lowlife, right? Or I see her as my equal. That's the chemistry part. And then we did the synergy. And what about the energy? Is she like, does she talk too fast? Is she talks too slow? That whole thing. So Deb, you have the floor. Just free fall it. Let us know chemistry, synergy, energy with April that you're feeling right now.
The chemistry, I would say definitely an 8 or 9, because even just texting with her earlier online, she's very open. She's very much of a leader, which I love. And
see,
well, because she started up the group, and she's leading up the group, and she's starting conversations, and she doesn't just throw it out there. Oh, here's the question, guys, and then she's off, playing backgammon all day. She was interacting with people and encouraging them and like, yay you and all this. And
she's in the trenches with you guys, is what I'm hearing you say. Nice. Okay, she's just not barking out orders. She's right there with you. Love it.
She's encouraging and she's building up. And yeah, I definitely think you could have a podcast. And even like when she questioned me, like I didn't feel when she says, "Hey Deb, why are you not on Facebook?" But she phrased it in a way that wasn't threatening, and I felt like I could tell her, and like she was really interested, because sometimes how people ask a question, but then they don't even listen to me.
They don't even care. Exactly.
It's like, why did you waste your breath?
I love them. I love her.
But that's totally that wasn't the case with her. I could tell just from the 2 sentences or 1 sentence that in the question that she wanted to hear the answer, and it wasn't in a, "Hey asshole, why are you not on Facebook?" There was no judgy in it at all. And we could have that back and forth, and I felt like I can tell her without her looking down her nose at me, and we didn't have to agree or not agree. And in fact, I think that's what you even said, like that, or unless I'm confusing you with somebody else that I spoke to today, that it, like, we could agree or not, like there's no judgment, like let's just talk about it. And that's great about her. I love that about her.
I would agree that your assessment is 100% right on, because I see her exactly the same way. That's who she is.
Well, just so you all know, because Deb doesn't know. Roy knows this. I don't see myself that way.
Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't.
As
And
a leader.
You will. It's going to
right, as a leader, yes.
There, you are a leader, and I'm going to tell you, maybe it weighs more on you.
It will. It will, Deb. Yes. It will weigh more when you tell her. Keep telling her. So, Deb, you see her as an alpha?
Yes, I definitely do see her as an alpha.
Okay, so there's a lot of controversy.
Recognize each other.
Okay, so there's a lot of controversy out there. Might as well talk about it now since we're talking about it. Can two alphas be in the same group?
Yes. Yeah, as long as they respect each other.
I totally agree with that. April, do you agree with that?
I do now.
So I don't know if you follow any body language experts out there or not, Deb, but one of the foremost ones for me is Vanessa Van Edwards. I don't know if you've heard of her.
No, I'm not.
She does the scienceofpeople.com, Vanessa Van Edwards. Maybe April can put that on the lower third, because when we talk about peeps and we shout people out. Now, I don't believe everything she says, because she does have a human people research lab and she does a lot of research. Okay. I know you're going to change that. Yeah. So she says that you can only have, Vanessa Van Edwards says you can only have one alpha female per group. Because if you have two, there's going to be drama. I don't believe that for a second. And like you said, respect. Now, here's what I believe about the word respect. And I know Aretha Franklin talks about it, sings about it, and Rodney Dangerfield says he gets none of it. But here's the thing. Where there is respect, there's always love. And where there's love, there's always respect. So when you hear somebody say, I respect you, but I don't love you, or I love you and I don't respect you, then you know that that person is out of kilter. You just need to get away from this person, because I know right away, and this is what I mean about body language 2.0 and beyond, I know right away this person is dangerous. Dangerous in the fact that they don't know the truth. And if they don't know the truth, there's going to be a lot of friction. There's going to be a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of fighting because they want it their way and they don't want it the way that it's supposed to be. So that's the word respect. I love that. Do you see it the same way? Do you see that you cannot have love without respect and not respect without love? And whatever your definition of love is, I don't mean romantic love. I mean friendship love. And when I have friendship love for you, that means I want to do the best for you all the time. I don't want to tear you down. I want to build you up. Just like what I heard you say about April in the Slack group, in text.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have both, or else you might as well have nothing, because otherwise that is a toxic situation.
True that. I totally agree with that. Thank you for that, because this is me getting to know you at the speed of light. No. The speed of sound, the sound of your voice, the sound of my voice. That's why I come on voice only. That is my superpower. I believe that I have more more strength in my voice than I do in my face. And my face has been a deterrent in the past, because I was doing live streaming, before I decided I'm just going to do voice, because people get so distracted. Plus I literally think on my feet. I walk back and forth in my office with my eyes closed. I'm just focused. So if somebody wants to talk and they want to talk over me, I don't hear them. So somebody like my wife has to say, Roy! That's all you got to do is say my name, because everybody stops on their name. Oh, what? Stop talking. Okay. So, if you want to say something and I'm going on and on and on and on, please just say Roy and I will stop talking, because I will go back. I'm not the guy that says we have to stay on topic, because the topic is a zig and a zag. Because when I say something, you get triggered. You want to say about that thing, and I want to hear about that thing. Even if you don't think it's on topic, it is for me. April, help her to understand that. True that? Because that just drove you.
She does not need my help.
That just drove April crazy at first until she started to like it. It's like, what are you doing way over there? We're talking about this. And I'm like, I'm sharing you the backstory so that you will know everything that I know.
Roy, did I ever say I like it?
Yeah, probably not. Okay, my turn. So here, I'm going to assess Deb. Now, I don't judge Deb. I assess Deb, right?
She gave me all of her numbers. She only gave one.
What?
She only gave one number for.
Oh, well.
She didn't finish. Yeah, please.
Oh, that's true. So the synergy, again, the synergy, I'm going to give an 8, because that still remains to be seen.
You're still in the befriending stage, right? You're still getting to know each other. Correct.
We can be together. There's a lot of potential there. Just the talking that we did at the beginning when Roy was off doing whatever it was that he was doing.
Yeah, that thing he does.
It was fun. We rocked it. All right, so there's a lot of potential there. And the other one was energy.
Yeah.
Is that the third one?
Yeah. Energy usually has a lot to do with how fast you speak or how slow you speak or how you can like you're a great conversationalist. I'm already going to say that. That's one of the things that I want to assess you with. You're a great conversationalist. You're not shying away from things. You're not going like, let me think about that. I'll get back to you tomorrow. It's like you think fast on your feet and all of that good stuff. So it's how you have that conversation with that person. Can you keep up with that other person's wit? You understand what I'm saying? Do you feel an equal, or do you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so ahead of this person, or I'm so behind this person? That kind of thing.
No, one of the things that I really like about April is I feel like in a lot of ways we're on the same page. And I had an idiot for a mother too, by the way.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we can unpack that.
Sisters, but the stories I could tell you.
Deb, I already see our first live stream topic.
Yeah, we always want to talk with the people about the daughter-mother connection, not the mother-daughter connection. Although both of you do have that, but April's is a little different because she has a child on the spectrum and a special needs child, so it's not quite the same. But while I'm thinking about this topic, I'm going to zag again and ask you a question, Deb. Deb, so where are you in the birth order?
I'm the oldest.
Ooh, me too. Out of how many?
Oh, and you're obviously the oldest, April. Out of how many? That's complicated. Because
Mom.
Biologically, I'm an only child. But I have I have a half brother with my mom, a half sister with my mom, and another husband number 3. And then I have 3 brothers with my dad. 3 half brothers with my dad.
So you're still the oldest of all the half siblings.
Everybody. I'm the first.
Okay. So I always go into my spiel. April, you know what I'm going to say next after I find out somebody's the firstborn?
No.
So I don't know how this is going to speak to you, but I'm going to ask you after I say this because you probably never even had anybody ask you this question before, Deb, and that's who I am. I like to ask you the thinking type questions so that I can figure out who you is fast. So during the space program, especially during the 50s and 60s, we had the space program. And out of the first 9 astronauts that went into space with the U.S. space program only, 8 out of the 9 were firstborns.
Okay.
And the other one was the firstborn son. Now, what does this tell you? How do you use this information, knowing about our space program back then? And yeah, firstborns were like prevalent there. So does that speak to you in any way?
Maybe. I'm going to hang out my shingle and say that it's because and having 2 children of my own, I feel like the firstborn, they have to figure it all out themselves. And I think that makes a person more self-sufficient than maybe the subsequent born children.
April, agree or disagree?
Yes, I would say risk takers.
Trailblazers, even, because how many?
Ooh, that's a good word. I use that word.
How many times does the oldest say, "I went through everything. I broke our parents down, and you all had it easy because I was the one who got yelled at for coming in late and breaking curfew. By the time they got to you, they didn't even care about curfew anymore."
That's a good point because I had to go to bed when the streetlights came on at 8 o'clock, and then my brother, 6 years my junior, he could just stay up till 10. He too long more, and I went, "Mom, that's not fair." And it's like, fair or not fair, it doesn't matter. That's how life is.
Yeah.
As an only child, you don't have anybody to role model and look towards and compare yourself with, and so everything you do is a first time. So either you dip your toe in the water and go for it or not.
Yeah.
And not only is it a first for you, as you've said often, April, it's also a first for your parents. So they go through it and then you being the only child, they don't have a second child to course correct or make new decisions with because, maybe I was too strict with April or maybe I was too lenient with April, and then they course correct with the subsequent children.
But not my mother. A lot of people even now assume that I was a spoiled child because I was an only child, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a usual thing or if that's just some folklore that is
I think most people think that, especially if they're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now that I know she's firstborn, of how many did you say? How many siblings do you have? Just
3, 4, 5.
Five half siblings, which is a little different than the others. Did you live with your siblings, or were they in different households, or did you come together here or there? Let me get that.
All right. I grew up with my mother, my stepfather, and me and their son, one of my brothers.
Okay. Okay. So I wouldn't consider. And what's the age difference between you and the half brother?
3 years.
So I would not consider you then an only child per se, but you'd be more on the spectrum of an only child because you saw yourself as your mom's only at that time. Yes.
That was the environment that was created.
Yes.
That I was the kid from the other marriage. I was the one with the different last name. It's definitely, that was the environment.
Yeah, you were almost, because of now that you mentioned the last name thing, I think that has a lot to weigh on your siblings, and on your, I don't like to say step parent, but bonus parent, because Momo, her son Morgan, yeah, I see him as my bonus son. I have 2 daughters, and they're way older than Momo, 25 years older. So there's a huge difference there, but I see him as my own. I treat him as my own, love him as my own, and even though he has the autism and all of that, he's such a great kid. I tell him that every day. You're a great kid. He smiles at me. He knows that he's loved, and we communicate in ways that probably, yeah. There's that thing we got, because I even told April before she even knew very much about me. It's like, I love kids, and that's usually not the thing with guys, right? So it's like, but I really love kids. I mean, I will get down on their level and talk to them. I mean, as a matter of fact, I will go out of my way to say to somebody, if you have a bully for a son or daughter, or there's a bully at school, let them live with me for 30 days, just in the home for 30 days, and they will come out not a bully, and they will love me when they come out. Because what's missing in a bully's life, well, actually, here's what a bully is saying. A bully is saying, who's the boss of me? And when you know that, then you can love that bully, and now they can make a new decision, because they're looking for somebody to not, control them, not to be in charge of them, but to take care of them because they're in your charge. That's from Simon Sinek. It's a little different, He's the kid. He's 10. He's a bully. He's 15. He's a bully. He's never received the love for him to say, you know what? I don't want to be this person, because there's another person on the planet that loves me, and I want to show this person that I can be who they believe me to be, because they're pouring into me. I just wanted to say that because I love relationships. That's why I'm doing the net friending movement. I don't want to just be superficial. I want to get deep into this. That's why my questions, and you're very open, Deb. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing with me all these things. So my assessment of Deb. Deb's the kind of person that I can go around the block with several times. I can go down a path.
Your energy. Gosh.
Oh, sorry. Deb, if you're not done, please continue. Hey, look at April.
Now, I'm going to give energy between me and April. I'm going to give that a 10.
Nice, because you're on the same page.
Yeah.
You speak about the same speed. You comprehend each other's words. Deb's all about words. Now you're all about words for the last 4 years, April. You understand what she's saying. People can't hurt me. That's my job. I can't hurt you. That's your job. Byron Katie, I don't know if you've heard her work. But, another quick question. Just yes or no. You can think about this. As a matter of fact, I want you to think about this. So tell me if you've ever been asked this question, or if you've ever thought it to yourself. So, Deb, do you believe everything you think?
Oh, God, I hope not.
That's a great answer.
Absolutely.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Want to
and that's what I teach in when I teach people meditation. It's we are not our thoughts. That's the whole reason for meditation.
Thank you. OMG.
Just
we are not.
85% of what goes through our mind is just total crap.
Yes.
Total
BS. Yeah. 80%. The 80-20 rule applies, right? 80% of the average person, the average bear, that they're negative their self-talk is negative.
Mhm.
And I just shared this with somebody, and I forgot who. But and April, I wanted you to unpack it in voice. I don't know if you ever did. I think it was this morning.
I didn't like your question.
Okay, so you can like it now. So we met on a live stream where the discussion was negative self-talk.
Okay.
And so the survey says research shows that the average person has like 80%. The 80-20 rule applies here. Has 80% negative self-talk. If you treated your best friend the way you treat yourself, you wouldn't have a best friend in most cases. Yeah, we really treat ourselves. And April will attest to that because she beats herself up still with this imposter syndrome thing. And I'm not a leader, and I'm not an alpha. Blah 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 blah. All this chatter. Anyways. With that in mind, I know April's self-talk is not 80% anymore when she was average when she came to me, mediocre when she came to me. It's way down there, but it's still in there. So I told the person, whoever, or the group that I was speaking to this morning, my negative self-talk, if I ever was average, was like everybody else, 80%. But today, 32 years down the path on my journey, it's 0.0000. There's 6 O's and a 1. Like I'm not going to say I'm free of negative self-talk because every now and then I might have just a smidgen of it, but it's less than 1% of 1% of 1%. It's so low that anyone who invests, not spends, invests time with me, they will realize it's like I don't complain, I don't get disappointed, and I don't have any negative self-talk that you're ever going to hear. And if you do, it's that 0.000.1. So April, is that true? Explain that to Deb because she's probably going to go, that's not even true. Who can do that?
Can you confirm that? But
is that true? That
you're asking me if it's true about him? I just met him.
No. Me, it's true about him. I could tell you stories, but
okay.
Yeah, no. I mean, do you think that that's what he says is even possible, that you have 0.00000?
Yes, absolutely. Because the people that I've met over the course of my yoga practice, some of these people are amazing. They're so connected and they're so focused on, they've just learned how to eliminate all those distracting thoughts.
And for you, what's your percentage? Is it 0.0001?
No, but it's definitely a lot as I've gotten older and wiser. My Deb 2.0, 3.0. I'm definitely a lot better. I don't know if I could put a percentage on it. Maybe somewhere between 10 and 20% still negative thoughts.
Nice. And self-assessment is good. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, go ahead, April.
You're going to ask me what mine is, aren't you?
Well, I'm going to tell you what it is after you tell me what you think it is.
You're going to override my own brain?
That's right, because other people's assessment of you is better than your own assessment of you if your blind spot is still blind. And I'll explain that in just a second. So Deb was courteous enough to give her assessment of herself. You said 10 to 20%, Deb. So if we had to nail you down to a number, is it 10 or is it 20 or is it something in between?
I'll go with 20 just to not be too.
And I love that. She's very,
but I feel like I recover from it faster now too.
That's good.
Sometimes I need to just kind of spew it all out and just be like, I'm never going to do this. And then it's like in meditation, I can catch myself now and say, yes, you are. Just would you stop?
So is there any cup throwing involved in any of this?
I'm half Italian, so sometimes there's.
And I say that because we just had one of those episodes. Okay, April, how much negative self-talk do you still have when you started with that average of 80% when I met you 4 years ago?
You're not going to like my answer.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you the truth after you say what your answer is.
60.
Yeah, that's not. So
how do you know? Are you
because I've been with you for 4 years. So here's what I know. So she's got about 7%. I'm going to throw out that number because I like the number 7. She's got about 7% negative self-talk, and it's always around the same topic. And that is how she sees herself in a leadership role. Okay? So let me explain what I mean leadership role. So everybody or influencer, because John Maxwell says leadership is nothing more than influence, and influence is nothing more than leadership. The two words are interchangeable. So Deb, let me see if you agree with that. If
Uh,
you're influential, you're a leader, and if you're a leader, you're influential.
yeah, I can believe in that.
So when I say leader, I don't mean manager, because somebody can make you a manager. Somebody can make you a CFO, a CEO, any C-level that they want. And just because you have that position, now you can boss people around.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean you're a leader.
yeah.
A leader is somebody who is being followed by somebody voluntarily.
Yes.
Like Deb, I would follow you voluntarily.
Oh,
And I probably will. As soon as I find out where all your stuff is, I'll follow you on social media.
Facebook.
Stop.
Well, wait a second. We still have to get into that because, okay. So let me just, since she zagged there, so I want to give you new information about Facebook so that you can make a new decision and not to change your mind. Because I never want you to change your mind, because changing your mind means you have no new information. You're just kind of wishy-washy. You want to do this one day, you want to do that the other day with the same information. But I believe when a person is given new information and they see the value of that new information, they will make a new decision. I believe that with all my heart. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But so did we finish, April, on the all of that? I think she had to go tend to
Yeah,
Morgan. Let me
yeah.
see. What did she say? Be right back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's got to tend to Morgan. Okay. So Deb, were you done with all of that? Or if you had something left to say about the relationship that you see with April? I mean, well let me ask you. So you're not done. I'm going to ask you a question that you can go. Do your relationships usually start out the way they did with April? Because I would think that that's kind of fast for you, right? That's kind of like a fast relationship. You like her, she likes you, and you want to see how far you can go with this. So this is the norm with you, or usually do you go a little slower, or usually do people not even say, hey, jump on a call with me?
I love your term. I use it all the time. The average bear, like being smarter.
Yeah, I love that. Right.
It's like I like to say, I'm no Wile E. Coyote, but I'm smarter.
Plus, you have a sense of humor, so I'll just inject some of these things as I'm hitting it. You have, listen, I say my conversations, this is just for me, my conversations need to be fun, funny, and fruitful. If they're not, I'm out. And so far, you are all that and a bag of 12 chips. Okay.
Thank you. But I think I've been around the block enough to know I've met a lot of people, and I've gotten a really good idea of who I like, who I gravitate towards, and who I'm like, and who I'm indifferent about, because that's just as important.
True.
And it's really difficult for me to meet people that I really like and I really want to go forward with. And so when that happens, like it has actually for both of you tonight, individually, I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Okay, it's like, yay, let's pursue this.
I love that. Yes, and I used to have a bell. It got broke traveling over here, so I would ring it for you right now, because that's my sign of overlap. It's the only word I can use. Overlap. It's part of you. We use the same vernacular. We use the same words. We have a similar thinking, and people in rehab. So let me make the distinction. What we have going on, since I know more truth than the average bear, you know more truth than the average bear. What gravitated me to you right away is change your words. Change your words. It's like she knows what I know, that if you use a different language, you will show up with a different behavior. So I'm going to put this out there, see if you believe this. I have a lot of formulas that I just narrow down to an easy, lowest common denominator.
All right.
When I see a person's behavior, when I am assessing their behavior, like I am tonight yours, and anybody else has taken a seat with me for the last 4 years, and it's been over and well into the hundreds. And who's left? Like, I think 2, besides April. The rest of them can't stand my guts because I'm too blunt. I'm too truthful with them, and I challenge them in ways that they don't want to be challenged.
And I run into that problem too.
Yeah.
And to alienate. Well, again, I don't alienate them. It's just that they're not ready to hear my message.
That's right. They're not on the same path as you, and you're further down the path, and that's okay because
so many people have not, like they're just grazing the surface.
Yes.
They handle that deep dive yet.
Yes.
I have to sometimes let people go, and then maybe they hate my guts and they don't get what I'm about, and I'm like, all right, that's fine.
But those people won't elevate you. They won't help you get where you need to get, and if you,
message for them. So there's no point in this.
There's no point. And if they're in a relationship with you and you want to hang on to that relationship, then there's no room for people who are equal to you and few steps in front of you or lots of steps in front of you. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
No, I don't.
I don't. If I find out I'm the smartest person in the room, I want to meet more people and get into their perspective and like, let's do this, let's do that, because none of us is as smart as all of us. So I want to get into relationships with people, and I don't have to be in control of everything. As a matter of fact, I am not in control of everything. I'm only in control of my thoughts, what I do with them, and how I behave. So here's the formula that I have found on how to say it. So I can see somebody's behavior, and I know why they behave like that, whether they're a 1-year-old or whether they're a 101-year-old. Behavior is determined by belief.
Yes.
What you believe determines your behavior. If you think you're an idiot, you'll act like an idiot. If you think you're a scholar, you'll act like a scholar. If you believe that you have value and you're bringing it to the table with somebody that you just met, you'll act that way and you'll be received that way. And that's exactly what you've done.
You're going to act.
Absolutely. So I met this one lady who said that she had a degree in this and that and whatever. And I was going like, wow, okay, you got a degree in all of this stuff. It's like, will you please tell everybody for the record, because I'm recording this call, that your behavior is determined by your belief. And if you want to change somebody's behavior, whether they're a kid or an adult, all you have to do is let them know, just change your belief about what you believe and your behavior will change. And she goes, no, that's not what I was taught. And she's licensed psychoanalyst or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, really? So there's a lot of people that are being taught stuff that's not true, even though they have a degree and all these letters and names after them. I don't. I never went to school for any of this stuff. I went to what you and I probably will know as the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Some of my best learning about all of this came when my first wife said, Roy, it's not the kids, it's not you. It's like, I want out of this marriage and I want to go be with this person. And we'll get into that later because that's my shame and guilt story and this was over 30 years ago now, but I can talk about it. So that's deep. And I was thrown for a loop that evening. I wanted to kill myself. I thought of suicide, but I just thought about it, right? I captured that thought and said, no, I can't do this. I don't even own a gun to want to own a gun, and I'm not going to do pills and screw this stuff. I'll just walk through this pain and see where I can go with it. Well, 4 years later, I'm saying, okay, now I got to turn my back because she just jumped off the cliff into the sea of insanity. I can't go there anymore because I thought we had a chance. I wanted to save my marriage. We had 2 young kids at the time, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. I did everything I could to save it, and she just wouldn't, and so we had to part. And I learned that. And so I now have wisdom to share with other people when they're just bumping their heads against a log, because I knew it. I knew, like, most of that time, you need to walk away. Right. This is not going to she's lying to you. She went in and out of jail. She was doing drugs and even cooking. And I'm going like, what? Who is this person? This isn't the person I married. This isn't the person I know. So she just went into this culture and went into this environment. But we had 2 young kids, and if we didn't have the kids, I would have bailed out. But I was doing it for the kids. Anyway, I learned a lot of stuff, and here's where I am now today, right? So I learned a lot of stuff. I didn't go to school for any of this stuff, but I know it's true, and I know it works, and I want to share my perspective, and whether a person does it or not is okay. Because April found herself in a cheating situation. Her husband was cheating on her. She had this little boy, and so I just walked her through it from my perspective, and she said, okay, I won't do it, because she was going to smear his name all over the internet. Not smear it, but tell the truth and say, my husband's a dirty this and that, and he's cheating on me, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, babe, what about the repercussions and what about all the consequences? And she thought about it for a half a second. She said, no, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Good choice.
So, yeah, great choice. Okay, so quick assessment of Deb. So I've already said a few things. I think Deb is very open to meeting people. She enjoys it. I have a one-liner. If you don't enjoy meeting people, guess what? People are not going to enjoy meeting you.
Well, would you say, though, that there's certain people she would enjoy meeting and certain people she may not enjoy meeting?
Well, she goes in with the intent. So, yes, that's a great question. So here's my assessment of Deb. Deb, you can tell me if this is you or not. So she goes into that relationship with, I'm happy to meet you. I want to meet you. I want to be friendly towards you. I can't make you a friend. I can't purchase you as a friend. If you don't want to be my friend, I'll know it soon enough. There'll be too much friction. I'll feel no peace, and I will bail out of this. But she goes into it with a happy, friendly, I want to make this friendship work if it's going to work, because she doesn't want to miss something. So she's not going to go, oh yeah, I don't trust this person. So I'm not. She's not apprehensive. She doesn't have any walls and shields up. If she does, they're very low walls. Deb, is that true? Yes or no?
That's pretty spot on. I don't need to be afraid of meeting new people, and because I'll know if it's not working, and I know that I'm not going to just stay with it out of need, being needy or whatever. If it doesn't work, I have no problem walking away from it. So I can do that trial and error with people.
I love that.
Would you tell somebody though? Would you let them know?
Yes. Yeah.
That it's not working out and let's just part ways now, because yeah.
And again, like people, that goes with being that straight shooter that we talked about.
Right. Lots of Bluntонese.
I will, and I'll try everything I say. I try and say with love, but I have to, like I've had to have had those hard conversations with people. Listen, we were going to date, we're going to try dating, but after this one conversation with you, I thought you were further along in your divorce than you really were, and that's just not for me. Take care. I wish
Good girl. Yes, I agree with you. So Deb, another personal question for you, and when I ask you personal questions, you don't have to answer them. You can just say pass, and I'll just move on, because I respect and love who you are. So Deb, this is a yes or no question. Do you trust me? Yes or no?
Yes.
April? Yeah, I know you have something to say, because she's heard me say this and ask this of so many people. Look at April. Look at her. So I wanted to go into April mode and tell Deb why I asked her and her response and all of that.
He's testing me to see how much I remember of what I've experienced over the years. Yeah, so he asks that question of pretty much everybody, not always in the beginning, because I think there's some new people in our inner circle that you haven't asked.
I haven't asked them that yet, no. But when the opportunity and I have peace about it, like I just did, I'm going to zag and ask that question, because I'm going to get that answer that I need right then and there.
So he's the speed relationship guy, in case you haven't figured that out. And I don't roll like he does. I don't do that, because that's just,
you're not that put your heart out on your sleeve kind of girl, or
no. It just seems like it's coming out of left field, and that makes people, okay, it doesn't make them. People feel uncomfortable most times with that question, because who asks that? Only Roy. So I don't know. I have other ways of finding out if people trust me, but it's the longer way to get there. With him, he's like, let's just cut to the chase. Do you trust me? And most times the answer will be, well, I don't know you. And or it depends. It depends on if the sun is shining, if your blood type is O positive.
Well, then that's no, right?
Right. But they don't want to commit. They don't want to plant their flag. And once he hears it depends, or I don't know you, and they can't give a yes or no definitively, then it's a no. And he knows exactly where he stands regardless of how they answer.
True.
Can't lie to me about that question. Can't lie to me about that question at all. So let me dig a little deeper with that. So number one, trust can't be earned. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait. But I did hear, because this is why I thought you called on me, teacher.
Yes,
I
student.
did hear.
Protege. Sorry. That was thinking right there. See?
Yes. I did hear Deb go, yes. There was that.
There was a hesitation, but she had to think about it, because, Deb, how often are you asked, do you trust me, yes or no? And there's a yes or no, and she's like, wow, he asked that great question. Oh, yes!
Yeah, because I felt a little uncomfortable saying yes right away. Like, wait, should I be saying yes? I said yes, but then I'm like, wait, is that a trick question? Like, do I? Like, and I got into my head about it.
Yes, and that's what April's saying, but very quickly.
Yeah, but I figured the yes was like the caught off guardness of it all.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, so
carry on.
So you can't earn my trust. I can't earn your trust. And if that's the case, you better give me a list of what I got to do to earn your trust. And then as soon as I do it, give me a time limit. Roy, do these things in 1 day, do these things in 1 week, do these things in 1 month, and you've earned my trust. Nobody does that. So trust is not earned. Here's what I have discovered. Trust is given. Because I give everybody my trust. Nobody that I meet, I go like, oh, I don't trust you. I'm going to wait a year to see if you're like trustworthy and stuff. It's like, no, the way you see a person is the way you treat that person. And if you don't see me as trustworthy, then I am really reluctant to be in this relationship with you. But you said, no, I trust you. So if you see me as trustworthy, I already see you as trustworthy, then I can take my trust back at any time.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
If you do something to change my feeling about that, then yeah, I'm going to change my opinion. But you have to, I think that people have to go in.
You have to.
Trust you, because otherwise, what's the point? If I don't trust you at this level, how do I ever get to know you better? There's no point.
Right. But
So
would
April,
you agree that there's a lot of people out there who operate on that default of not trusting?
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps them on that superficial level. You can't again do that deep dive if you just don't inherently trust people in general.
Yep.
That's what keeps people stuck.
So many people don't even realize that that's what's killing them, killing all their relationships, their business perspectives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pushing everyone and everything away, or they're keeping them at arm's length.
right, and nothing can come to them. Nothing can come in because they've got the wall up. So Simon Sinek, if you're not familiar with his work, he says start with why,
Mm-hmm.
and he says about the what was I saying? Just totally lost it. What were we talking about? We're talking about trust.
Keeping if people keep people at arm's length, then how do you ever?
I remember. Yeah. So he says, if you don't understand people, what, April?
You don't understand business.
This is my thing, Deb. Now I'm going to get to something really, really deep. Everything else I was saying, sharing, the softballs. Here comes the hard ball right here. It's a hard ball. Let's see if you can bat this and hit a home run on this. If you don't understand people, you don't understand business. Marie Fort. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, based on the TED Talk by Simon Sinek, I agree with that, because I think he categorized people into 4 different categories of the different types of buyers. So if you don't understand what somebody's mentality is, if they're an early adopter, or I don't remember what the other ones were.
That's part of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Totally part of it, because we're starting a movement, and we've already been told to our faces, one of the last few people we met, oh, do you have this people search engine going? Do you have this and that going? It's like, no. She says, well, then I'm out. And, I'm like not an early adopter. I'm not one of those types of people. I'm not an innovator. I just will join when you got it going. I'll be one of the, the bell curve that you have. So I'm looking for 16% of the people who will help me with the innovation, help me with what my dream is. Is that also your dream? And it's like, these are people that are afraid, yes, but they're going to do it afraid, right? Mm-hmm. They're not going to let their fear stop them. They're going to get to the edge of the cliff, and they're going to go, Roy, you say you jump off cliffs and build your parachute on the way down. It's like, I've never done it before, but that really sounds good to me because I'm so stuck, or I don't know what I'm doing. Can I like hold hands with you and jump off the cliff and you help me build my parachute? And I'll say, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did with April. There's a couple of other people that are kind of like in the wings. They're kind of sort of also waiting for us to get this thing going, and then they go, then I'm in. And that's okay, because they are genuine and good people. They just don't have the innovator or early adopter spirit. Right. But I believe you do.
And so I don't consider myself to be an early adopter, but I do believe in that pioneer, that innovating. Sometimes you have to.
Trailblazer, like you said earlier. So do you see yourself as a trailblazer, a pioneer?
I'm not the first person to update my Apple.
I think that's true of everybody.
Yeah.
But I think what's missing.
I do trailblaze, absolutely.
What I think is missing with your blank, you can fill in the blank with whatever you want. I would probably say your mentality, and that is, if you have to go the journey by yourself, if you have to trailblaze by yourself, mm-hmm. you're kind of sort of going to wait just as you are without planting a flag and going like, I know I could do this, but do I really want to do it? Like the book, I know I can finish the book, but should I? Is there a better way? Is there an easier way? Because maybe that's not the best way, and I don't want to second guess myself, but I am second guessing myself. And so maybe you were just not knowing what you were not knowing waiting for somebody like April and or myself, individually, collectively, to kind of cross your path and open your eyes a little bit, open your heart a little bit to something that maybe you already know, but there was a little bit of fear by yourself, but with the other person, it's like, oh my goodness, yes, I will hold hands, and where I'm strong and you're weak, and let's get this thing to going, and let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it. When you find the right people. So I don't know if that's been your experience before, where maybe you said, yeah, I'm going to go the mastermind route, or I'm going to go, two are better than one route, or, the buddy system or whatever. And then that other person blanked. They left. They didn't hold up their end. Right. And you're like, oh my goodness, now here I find myself again. And is there anybody on the planet that will do this with me, walk with me, run with me?
How do I find those people?
Yes. Yes. So please, Deb, unpack.
Yeah.
Unpack that. Has that been your thoughts and feelings, and what do you feel now? Because April and I already like you. I can speak for her. And if we find something that we can do together to help you, you help us, and we help each other, then I want to do that. I want to explore all of that. Not tonight. We're not going to get it in all tonight. But, this first meet and greet is always to see if we want to have a second meet and greet, or to have a second meeting and beyond, and talk even more about all of that. So,
but not for this long necessarily, just so you know.
Not to what?
Not necessarily for this long every time.
Oh, okay.
Although
absolutely. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, walkie-talkie, this and that.
See, he'll talk for 12 hours if you're up for it.
And this has to do with our Facebook environment, because I don't know what other environment you would want to connect in if it's not Facebook. And if you haven't the environment on LinkedIn, I'm not there. And if you don't have the environment on the other platform, which I'm thinking you haven't been there yet. So we need a way to communicate where we can just push a button. And we have found that Facebook is the best tool for that. You just push a button and there you are talking to each other. Now, I know you can do this in Slack, but can you do a group call in Slack?
I don't know.
No.
You can do one-to-one calls, and I don't even know how that is. Is it a video call? Is it audio only? I know you can do Skype. We did a Skype with Ernest the other day. How well do you know Ernest, Deb?
I'm getting to know him.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Scale of 1 to 10, probably about a 3 so far.
And how well do you know April now after this 1 hour and 36-minute talk?
We're getting there. We're probably in the 6 area, I think.
Okay, great, wonderful. And how long have you been in the Slack group?
2 days.
No way! Wow.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Really?
I think it's at least 3, because three days ago you joined us.
I don't know. I thought it was yesterday.
No, it was 3 days ago.
Well, maybe it was. See, time.
I think it was Monday. It was either Monday or Sunday. So, but anyway, not even a week yet is what I'm hearing. So just a few days, which is amazing. So do you like the Slack group? You like that environment? Because, if the 3 of us can talk like this, and I just call you on Slack, if you give me permission to just call you on Slack, it's like, I don't want to text at you for a half an hour when I can just call you and go like, hey, Deb, blah, 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 and 2 minutes later we're done. Yes. And that's cool. And then I can make a room like this and we can invite up to 6 people. So do I have your permission for that?
That sounds great. Yeah, I have no problem.
Are you building any relationships with anybody else over there, male or female, that you would say, you know what, Roy, I'd like to meet this person in this type of environment. I haven't spoken to them in this type of environment, video, audio, what have you, phone even. But I'd love to, because I'm hearing you talk about karma a little bit. So maybe you're building a relationship there.
Yep. I don't know, as far, again, this is all like very new.
Right.
And I appreciate that you guys reached out to me, because
Well, I appreciate you joining in, because I put this link in for everybody. There's like 40, 50 people there, and you're the only one that's really jumped in that we haven't invited personally, other than just, here's a link, and she's like, I see a link. I'm jumping in, because probably you watched us a little bit and go, I can jump into that. I know how to do double Dutch. Deb, was that the case?
Talk to anybody. It's like, that's how you get to know people. If you don't
exactly, just jump in.
Yeah,
I love it.
But that night when you jumped in, had you been watching for a little while before you decided?
No.
Oh man, that tells me a lot. She's all in. She jumped off the cliff. Yeah.
It's like, I'll meet new people, sure.
I love that. Okay, so the last amount of time that we have here, we won't keep you any longer. How can we serve you based on what you already know about us? And I know a few things about websites. I know a few things about WordPress and Divi and SEO and that kind of stuff. And obviously, you've heard me speak about people are important to me. And, if all you want to do is the mechanical side of business rather than the mindset side of business, because I always say there's two sides, how to do something and why to do something. So you taking a seat with us, and I want to build a friendship before I build anything else, because if we're not going to be friends, I don't want to help you, because it's just a waste of my time, because I like it to be win-win, mutually beneficial. I'd like it to be where we can record the thing, and then I can have a before and after picture and say to the world, look, this was an issue of life that Deb had, or this is an issue of life that me and April had, and Deb helped us and we helped her. So where can you focus right now on, yes, I want to help you with your responsiveness on mobile and all of that stuff, but where else do you see maybe some overlap now that we're, talking the way we are? So what do you see that we can help you with? If you could say, April, Roy, here's where I really need the most help. And if we can, devote like an hour or two here or there, within a week, at nights, 9:00 p.m. like tonight, that's when April and I will be doing the show. You can come on, you can talk about this. And then Sunday afternoon between 1 and 4 Eastern time, that's really the only time April has to be a part of all of this. And I do want her to be a part of that. So with all of that, Deb, what do you see? Just throw it out there. I mean, if it's a big request, if it's a big ask, I love that.
Okay. Now you're asking the hard questions. It's funny because I have so much that I'm trying to do with this right now. I would love to build my client base, build my mailing list. I'm trying to. I would love to. I love just a little bit that we did. I was able to tell you what my issues are with trying to find my focus. I would love to talk to you guys more to help me develop like where I'm going to go, what my direction is going to be, and then figure out where, because then that says, okay, now I have to make my website reflect what my actual focus is. And I definitely have website questions. I'm to the point where I built my own website, but I'm definitely starting, the HTML water is starting to like get out here. And I think I'm going to have to jump off the cliff and get a developer and virtual assistants. And I'm at that point where I'm close, and I would love to roundtable about that kind of stuff.
Ooh, again, the keywords, roundtable that. Mm-hmm. So here's what I would say to you. Just yes or no. Do you know your mess to message?
My what to what?
So your message today is because of your mess from yesterday. Mm.
Okay.
If you don't have that, AKA a signature talk, can you share in a video with us and the rest of the world? We call it a signature talk. I call it your mess to message. You have a message that you want to share with the world, and you want to help them. You solve a problem, and for a certain target audience, and you have to say that succinctly enough and with feeling enough that the other person goes, oh my goodness, I can't wait to do this with you. I see you as the solution to my problem. Where's the buy now button?
I would love to develop that. I have bits and pieces of it in my head, but I don't think it's fully formed.
Okay. So that comes before the website.
True.
Because you can't build your website without knowing that. You could build your website and then you just have to rebuild it. So if that makes sense to you, right now I wouldn't focus too much on your website because you're talking about getting developers and you don't even know what to tell them.
Well, and that's part of the problem.
Right.
That's it.
So
that's part of it.
Yeah. So that's putting the cart before the horse. Now, here's what I wanted to let you know about me. I'm very sure of who I am.
Okay.
I know my skill set. I know my strengths. And I will never tell you any BS just to fill up space to get you to believe that I know what I'm talking about, because you'll see through me like a clear baggie. I can't do that. I can't lie to people, and I can't tell them things that I don't know or do. And I have social proof. This woman right here, for 4 years has been by my side virtually, and now under the same roof. And you can just take a look at her own life. You can even see the social proof that she has. And there's a lot of other people that have been helped by me, a little here, a little there.
I can't believe you didn't show the picture while we were here.
Oh, yeah. So look at the before and after picture. Look at the screen. This is how she showed up in live streaming in her April 1.0 days, and then now she's April 2.0. Do you see any, inferiority complex?
Yeah, absolutely. The way she slouched over, and the hand, and just, and even just like the makeup and the lighting.
Yeah, she's showing up small on the left, and she's showing up loud and proud on the right. And that's because she made a new decision in her thinking. April, how many times in the first 10 months, before I said you're ready to do this publicly, because we did all of that privately, did I say to you on almost a daily basis, stinking thinking and junk in the trunk?
Air a day. Twice
Air a day. Air a day. And that's why I say today she's only about 7% junk in the trunk and stinking thinking, because I don't say it much anymore. It's just around her persona of herself. She doesn't see herself as a leader, and she doesn't see herself as an influencer. And Deb, just meeting her tonight, almost 2 hours now, just sitting and taking a seat with her, she's an influencer. She knows that she's a leader.
I said like 3 things. You've done most of the talking.
We talked before that, and we talked earlier in the day. So
you can read that.
Yeah, but that's all it takes. I see things in people.
That's right.
We're the empaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's what I say too, Deb. Your brilliance is in your blind spot, and so is your ignorance. People need to tell you what you're good at, and people need to tell you what you don't yet know. It's not that you're dumb, it's you're ignorant. You don't know what you don't know. Your mama didn't teach you, your papa didn't teach you, and you don't have any circles of influence right now that anybody smarter than you in this particular area. That's why these mastermind groups are so important. Now, I was going to say this about myself. I don't know everything there is to know, but I know everything I know. And I say it that way in a fun, funny, and fruitful way, because I can help people to understand what I didn't understand, where I was blind. Right. I had a blind spot. I was ignorant, and people poured into me. And and this is who I am. That's my mess to message. So I can tell you my most vulnerable things if you want to hear it. And I'm not afraid to anymore. I share my shame and guilt stories. And, Brene Brown says people need to do this more, but they need to do it with the right people. So I'm providing an environment and a culture like this, Inner Circle, from somebody else's group where we all share the same tribe leader, and we go like, at least that we have in common. We have Pat Flynn in common. We also have Marie Forleo in common. I love Marie Forleo. Would I take her B school? No, I don't need to take her B school. I can probably teach B school and do it a little different. And I am, and I will. But I want to do it individually. So I'm looking for some people, 121 people from Pat's tribe, to pour into in a training session, in a pilot program, if you know what I mean. Do it for free. And then when we all have like a course, because I like building my course with the people inside of it, because I want to serve you. I don't just want to give you something generic. Hey, go watch these videos. Yeah, at the end of the thing, tell me, are you 2.0? It's like, no, I want to work with you individually. I want you to get to know me. I want you to get to know April. I don't want to do anything by myself. 2 are better than 1. And I think that is the missing link for just about anybody who's doing any kind of education online, taking courses, taking masterminds. It's like, you need to know there's at least one other person in your corner who has your back every single day. The consistency, the motivation, everything. Check in with that person. Hey, did you do those 15 things you said you were going to do today, Deb? No, I didn't. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm just checking in with you. Can you do them tomorrow? That kind of thing. Not like, and we're going to give you like 50 lashes. And it's like, that doesn't work with me. What works with me is, I don't even care why you didn't do it today. It wasn't valuable enough for you to do today. That's all I need to know. It's like, hey, you're going to do it tomorrow? And maybe I can help you, or if I have some.
We can have the conversation. Why not? What stopped you? What did you run into? And maybe let's talk about how to remove those roadblocks.
Yes, that's thinking, and junk in the trunk. And if you want to go there, I want to go there. If you don't want to go there, and you say, I'll do it tomorrow, because a lot of people are self-starters, but not self-finishers, and so they need help. They need accountability partners. They need mentors. They need coaches. They need friends. They even need peers. But most of all, they need cheerleaders. I want to cheer you on, Deb. I want to say, rah, rah, ree, hit him in the knee, rah, rah, ras, hit him in the other knee. Okay, so I just want to be your cheerleader. I don't even know what you're doing. It's like, Deb, I want to pour some energy into you. I want to pour some love into you. I want to pour some respect into you, and just ask you, because I don't care if you did it or not. I just want to know, did you? Anyway, with that note, final thoughts, Deb, the next time we connect like this, which will be tomorrow for us, we're coming up. I don't know. Do we have anybody on tap for tomorrow, April? If not, feel free. No?
No, I was just going through I'm doing the Lou Bortone thing at 8.
Okay, we're going to drop you the link. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Are you on Facebook at all? Is there a profile that you're not using so that we can add you to an inner circle that we have on Facebook? Just yes or no?
Right now, no.
Okay. Is it possible for you to make it as soon as possible? I don't care if you do it in 1 hour or 1 week or 1 month, whenever you want to, because we started an inner circle. Mm-hmm. 2 of the people already told us that it's like, wow, I love the value here. I love the energy here. I love all that here. So we're doing what we're doing here in voice and text, like walkie-talkie. We can type audio. It's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then I post links to this, to that. And I just want to shout you out from the rooftops. I really do. As soon as I know who Deb is, I want to say, guys, meet Deb. Deb, meet guys. And if you resonate, great. And if you don't, still great. And I want to do something inside the Slack group because, April, is there anybody like Deb out there that's kind of, I know most of them are probably a little bit shy, or they're not sure what they have to contribute, but mm-hmm. I think after tonight, Deb's going to speak up and be that alpha female in the group and ride these waves with Ernest through his Slack group and Pat's group right with you, just side by side. Is that true, Deb?
I could do that.
Okay.
I think I have.
Is there anybody else in the group there? I mean, how many people you got now, April? Like 10, 20?
In the sisters thing, 21.
In the Cestas group, yeah, 21 people.
Well, I think the vibe I get, we'll see if Deb agrees with this, because
okay, you guys close out. I'm going to listen because it's going to be good.
Of course, it's going to be good. I'm telling a story. I think there are some people who are receptive to feedback, mm-hmm. but I think the majority are either just kind of lurking, mm-hmm. just to get a lay of the land, or they really don't care what you have to say. They just want their questions answered for whatever they're doing, and they don't want all that other noise.
Maybe. I haven't been on there enough. Today was the first day I really explored it, and I didn't get a chance to read everything. I got the impression just from the general scan that some people don't have the confidence. They want to do it. Maybe they have an idea, maybe they don't. Maybe there's some excuses why they're not. And like I tell my kids all the time, it's okay to identify the problem, but at some point you have to take your focus away from the problem and put it on the solution. Mm-hmm. And I think some of them still have their focus still on the problems.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to have a business, but, and they're still in that but ... place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my impression.
There's a one-liner for that. See,
I
was triggered by one-liners. Is your why bigger than your butt? B-U-T.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. So yeah, they're whys. They may not even know their why. So
yeah.
But I just overwhelmed. Just the fact that there's 21 women in there, and I really could only tell you maybe 4 who are
really like engaging, like Diana. Yeah. Diana. The bus driver, Julia is her name.
There's Joanna.
Oh, Joanna B.
And Melanie.
Yep, she was interacting.
She after I told her to send me a friend request on Facebook, she did. Okay. And she was open to sending me a video and allowing me to give her feedback. I think having people like you and I, because I now consider us a we.
Good. Yay. Okay, good.
Having people like us who are going to give feedback in a way that's constructive and not where they feel something icky and negative and judgy behind it is going to give them greater confidence to keep moving forward. And that's what I want for people.
Agreed. Yeah, I want that for people too.
What was the question? Did he ask a question? I don't remember.
Were we talking about, is there, I think the question was, is there...
are there any women who you think...
Step up and be leaders?
Yeah, the answer to that is just Deb for now.
Okay, for now, but it's still new.
Yeah, and I would love for you to because you're great at leading a conversation. So
Glad you think so.
if you could,
Yeah, and I tried to do a little of that today. The one girl who wanted to start a podcast, but she wasn't sure if she was ready. I was like, "You got this! Come on!" I got my pom poms out for her.
Yeah.
And I can definitely do more of that.
The reason I created the Sisters channel.
Back.
Yeah, I have to. She was just going to get into it because I was going to ask her, April, tell Deb and everybody else that will hear it, and we'll play this for the sisters in the sisters group. Why did you create the group, what you have in mind, and what Ernest said behind that? He was like waiting for somebody to step up and make a women-only type group, and he said make it private, kicked all the guys out, that kind of thing. But before you get to that part, she said about the podcasting, Deb. She says she wants to do a podcast. She doesn't know, blah, 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 this and that. Here's what I want to say for people who want to do podcasts, because that's my intersection. Okay, so listen to this. My intersection is the intersection of live streaming or podcasting and personal growth. If somebody wants to meet me right there at that intersection, I will help you to show up, do live streams like this, and or do what you want to do, maybe a polished podcast. You record it behind the scenes. You edit all of that, take out all the ums and ahs and what have you, until you realize, why am I doing all this work? Why don't I just show up with another human being, have a topic, have some bullet points, and do a discussion for 20 minutes? Like a TED Talk, 18 minutes or less. That way it's consumable. And if it's going to be longer than that, then mix it up and put it into part 1, part 2, part 3 if you have an hour-long show. Because I think that once they just start doing it, quit worrying about all this environment right here. This is StreamYard. Let me put the banner up, or the thingy. This is powered by StreamYard. Go to StreamYard.com. Go to netfriending.com/StreamYard. That way we can keep track of who it is. It's not an affiliate program. We got this thing already, so it's not about the affiliate thing or whatever. Any way you can get there is fine. What you saw here tonight, everything you see here tonight, is free. So practice here. You can do this behind the scenes. Do your YouTube channel. Do it private or unlisted. Find somebody else to watch you do it. That's not your mom. That's not your family. That's not going to, they know you. They're not going to be as objective as somebody like April, myself, or yourself, Deb. So invite them in and go like, okay, well, what's your podcast going to look like? What are you going to talk about? Let's just do it. Let's just start. I'll just be in the audience and I'll watch you, or I'll sit next to you and we'll watch you. And maybe you want to do it with a co-host because you like the interaction of a discussion better than just, doing a dialogue out there. And maybe you don't know how to show up. Maybe you show up like April did. You just want to look at yourself and go, what did I just say? What do I look like? You want to show up small, or you can show up like April over here, all polished and stuff, and not all that air. You're cray, girl. That's funny. I think if the two of you say to that lady who wants to do the podcast, come join us on the show here. Because look, we can give you little sound bites here, and I can show you all the, the stuff that you can take sound bites out of this and show other people, and you can show people too. It's like, look, I was on a show with April and Roy. Deb, you can say that. It's like, show your mom, show your dad, show your brothers and sisters. It's like, look, I was on a TV 2.0 talk show. Didn't even know what I was doing, but I did it. The thing here is, do not let your fear stop you from starting.
Right.
Most people who feel, I'm afraid, I'm scared, I'm intimidated, I'm inferiority complexed, I'm all this stuff, all the butt words, B-U-T. Your why needs to be bigger than your butt, B-U-T.
I was just saying that, yes.
I always ask you, if your butt, your excuse is bigger than your why, you're never going to do it. I'm going to wait till grandma moves out. I'm going to wait till the kids grow up. I'm going to wait till the dog is dead. It's like, no. Do it now and just jump off a cliff, but do it with somebody else who's already done it. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's why net friending, and we want to help you. So I want to make sure that you get this, and I'm going to jump off and you guys finish. Deb, I want you to be part of our people search engine. There's 3-4 main videos we want you to do, 90 seconds or less. Like I said, the signature talk and all that, and we'll help you think about that because that's important. Because if you can't get your message out there, you can't get in front of a podcaster that's got millions of listeners because they're going to think you're not prepared, and they're going to be right. You're not. So we want to help prepare you. Not that we're the professionals and the be all and end alls. It's just we just know what you need. Then you need a one sheet. Then you need to, to show people that you've already done a podcast or you've done your signature talk, and do it with us. And April will show you because she's even going like, what's my signature talk, Roy? Because she doesn't even know. And I want to get her on all kinds of podcasts.
I just uploaded now that StreamYard increased the intros and outros.
Bye, guys. You guys finish up.
Are you listening to me, Roy? Crazy. Now that StreamYard increased the intro and outro to 5 minutes, I was able to upload as an overlay my 3-minute sig talk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that I could play it on here. But, I just think about the people in the Slack group and beyond who would say, okay, so, because everybody asks this when they join something or join with other people, is what's in it for me? Even if they're somebody who's that pay it forward mentality, there's still that element of, well, okay, so if I invest my time in this, what's my return?
Gotcha.
And so many people have been listening to all those live streamers out there, all the experts who are talking about funnels and Facebook ads and all the things, the algorithms and everything that's going to drive traffic to your website. And we are not traffic, we are people, for starters. They're missing the fact that being together, coming together in this type of environment as a community and having a conversation and helping each other, everybody's going to sharpen everybody else.
That's the what. That's the in the what's in it for me, is you have to put yourself out there and make the connections and learn, because otherwise you're not going to get that back. If it's, you get out of something what you put into it. And if you're just going on there saying, oh, what can I learn from this, and you're not putting yourself out there, you're not going to get that much back from it.
So I think that's been our biggest barrier to having people come along with us on this journey, because there's a lot of that mentality of, okay, this is great, it seems exciting, and then it's like, okay, well, what did I get? I got a lot of information, but but for us, we're doing the people search engine, which he really didn't even go into, but we're building a foundation of people, and we want those people to build it with us. That way everybody's invested in that same thing. Everybody's birthing it together. And at the end of that, when you're done birthing it, you're inside that search engine where you can be found by the people that you're supposed to meet.
Interesting.
And it's through video, vital video visibility. Hey, I have a banner for that. There's a banner for everything. We have one-liners and banners for everything. So if you think about Facebook and you think about Google and LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and all these platforms that are here and that have not yet come, because there will be more. It is so hard to find the right people to connect with. For instance, a special needs mom, such as myself, I don't necessarily want to connect with somebody for that reason, but just like, not to talk about it all the time, but just to find people that can relate to my situation.
Yeah.
Where would I go for that?
Maybe give you some guidance, or just like, because sometimes they've come up with something that would make your world a better place and an easier way, or that would help your son move forward.
Right.
People who have that expertise.
But not to talk about it 24/7. And so if I were to go in search of on Facebook, I would find a special needs group, which I have many, many, many. There's a gazillion of them.
Yeah.
Many Facebook pages. And it's people talking about it all day long and complaining about where they're at and they're stuck and they don't want help.
Right.
And they're not there to help me. They're just there to commiserate.
Yeah, exactly. I totally get. Last year I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was hesitant to join a support group because of that exact same thing. It's like, oh, we're breast cancer survivors and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't want to spend the whole rest of my life talking about breast cancer because that's not who I am, and I don't want that to be my tagline. It's just something that happened to me. I dealt with it. It's over, and I'm moving forward with it. Not that I don't want to talk to anybody about it ever, but that's the problem with support groups, is that people get stuck in that's all they want to talk about, and it's all me, and I just want to complain and say, oh, this thing happened to me, poor me, and I don't think that's healthy, and that's not what I want. It's not. So I get it.
Yeah. So where do you go to find those quality people that are going to be in alignment with you? You can't just go on a search on Facebook and type in, I don't know, like if you're writing a book and look up authors, like where do you go to find people that are going to be able to elevate you?
Right.
Or just cheer you on?
I think that's where law of attractions comes in. It's that learning to be quiet and to find inside of you, just like to find those undertones, to know where to look.
But even still,
right. Yeah.
You have to go and search up.
Because you can build that search engine, but if the person doesn't have the wherewithal to look for it, they're never going to find it.
Mm-hmm. But if we build the right foundation of people who are going to go out to different tribes and go talk about what we're doing, because you talked about Facebook ads before and the algorithms and all this other stuff, we're not relying on any of that. We're relying on the people to take our message, become brand champions. Other people say brand ambassadors. We say brand champions.
Okay.
I like that word better. Ambassador sounds so like government. Yeah. Brand champions to go out and just talk about their experiences. And that's why we do the documenting and all this video and the before and after, because it's testimonial to show how relationships are formed, just like now. Like we never met each other before tonight.
Right.
We're talking like we've known each other forever.
You're right. You're right.
But how often are people doing that?
Not enough. Definitely not enough.
They're texting.
Yes.
I never would have gotten this vibe from you, or like I wouldn't have known how to receive you in text without having this conversation. Now when we go back to text in the Slack group, I'm gonna read you differently.
Yeah, and likewise.
So
here's Roy.
Let me add to that really quick. So here's my dream. Here's my vision in a nutshell. Okay, Deb, listen to this very carefully. So I believe in the power of relationships. If you don't understand people, you don't understand business. I'm going to say this ad nauseum. I'm going to say this ad nauseum. You
sound good.
It's just ice cubes.
Oh, it sounded like something was breaking.
You, Deb, can do this dream and vision that you have for a book, for a course, for earning money on the internet, not making money on the internet, because that's a different mindset. By serving people first and foremost, and if you have value that you're providing for them, not only will they buy from you, they will tell your story to other people, because that's what happens. People will share you because it's value. So you just shared with us that you paid, it's probably $2,000 for Marie Forleo's B School. So I never took it. I never wanted to take it. April doesn't want to pay for it because that's one part. That's one puzzle piece of the bigger puzzle. I'm the kind of guy that says, don't pay for bright, shiny objects or puzzle pieces when you don't know all the puzzle pieces. It's like turning over 1,000 pieces of puzzle and you look at the box and it's blank. You don't know where the trees go, where these colors go, and it's like you're never going to put that puzzle together, and you're going to get frustrated before you even get so far. You're going to quit. I want to make sure that you understand the puzzle box and what that picture looks like. And if you can't explain it to me, don't go buying anybody's course. Don't go buying anybody's this or that. As a matter of fact, don't go even listening to people's free stuff until you know all the puzzle pieces. Now, April, tell Deb as my social proof, have I done that with you, and have you been resistant in some of the things that I tell you? This is a puzzle piece. Go do it. And you're like, no, that person doesn't like me. I don't see that. I'm not an alpha dog or a cat or whatever you think, oh, girl, woman. And it's like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, April, I'm going to push you off the cliff. Your parachute will open. Believe me. I did.
And then cups get thrown, Deb. Cups literally across the kitchen. Yes.
See, and she's very vulnerable about that. So she's talking about that. She's not ashamed of it anymore. She wants to let you know, hey, I still got 7% of that stinking thinking and junk in the trunk. Mm-hmm. And, to be conservative, Deb's saying I got 20%. But, from tonight, I haven't seen any of it. And from what I did see, I don't even know if it's that or not, right? Because she's very receptive. I mean, she's still here. 2 hours, 10 minutes, she's still here.
Oh, it's almost
so Deb, I want to offer you a free lifetime access to our people search engine. You put the right videos together. We'll help you. Mm-hmm. We'll give you swipe files, examples, everything, because we're just at the very beginning also. April's done a few. You can see what she's done, and then you use your style, you use your personality, and you put it together. And then I go, yay. And then I put a profile page for you together on your website and index it in our people search engine at netfriending.com. Mm-hmm. You can be found in Google all by itself if people know what to do. But then the people who are part of Pat Flynn's tribe and other people's tribes, because I want to go, my number one person is Brene Brown. Her number one person is Tim Tebow. Mm. Now, if you could sit next to anybody you want in the world, your number one person, your most influential person that you could say, I want to be just like that person. It probably won't be just like Mike, but whoever that is, you don't have to say. If you want to say, that's fine. But that's our goal. Our goal is to help you to get on that person's radar and sit next to that person and collaborate with them and say, look, if you allow your peeps to come into our environment, there's a revenue stream associated with it. There's an affiliate program. There's a joint venture program. There's all of this stuff. We got all the technology in the world to do it. And let's do it. Because if it's win-win, mutually beneficial, and people getting revenue out of it, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't do it. But it's not about the revenue. It's about the relationship first. Serving those people. If you, me, and April, and the people that we already have, and we can serve, because we're part of the same tribe. Everybody follows Pat. If we can tell Pat, here's what we want to do. We got 121 people, and now we want to charge, let's say, X amount of dollars, and you get a percentage. You can give it to charity if you don't need it. And then all the people associated with us, when they get people to come in, they get a percentage of commission. And it's just win-win all the way around. And look what we've already done. Here's the stuff that we've helped Deb with. Here's the stuff that Deb's helped us with. Here's the stuff that, you understand what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of stuff that can help people, but I'm not all over the place. I don't go a mile wide and an inch deep. A jack of all trades and master of none. Mm-hmm. I am the master of a few things. Right. And I know how to do it. And I go an inch wide and a mile deep. And I can help you with video and curating and sound bites and all of this stuff. And it's so simple and so easy. And if you do it with us and you use the right hashtags, then other people within Pat Flynn's tribe will find you, Deb, and they'll go, oh my goodness, Deb's my peep. Right. Deb, I want to do a one-to-one with you. I want to do a meet and greet with you. Because you have all of this stuff in place, rather than going and throwing out Facebook ads and hoping people do this and hoping people do that, because your number one priority, your big why is, I want to make money on the internet, rather than what.
Yeah, no, I get
that. I didn't even say Roy, and he stopped. You're getting
rather than, I want to befriend you, I want to play with you, I want to collaborate with you, I want to co-create with you, and together we can go further. And two are better than one. None of us is as smart as all of us, and then the money will come. Right. Friendship first, businessship second. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Wait,
so just that you have that. And what?
I said, don't go anywhere. I know you're going to drop yourself down again.
Yeah. What do you need?
I was going to propose that if Deb agrees, because I need to go to bed, so we're going to wrap this up all together right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I've been wanting to, but Deb keeps talking.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to make sure I get enough value into your head, mind, and heart, Deb, so that you can come back and say, wow, I slept on that, and that Roy guy, he's got a lot to say. I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm in. That's what I want to hear.
Okay. Well, all right. You want to hear that? All right.
Anyway.
I'm in. I like what you guys have to say, and I want to know more. And I feel that we could collaborate and do great things.
I think it would be great to have that before picture, since you are still looking for like what the thing is that you should be doing next. And then you had the website thing, and he told you what's your signature talk, and you're like, I don't know.
Right.
So that's something that we could utilize this time at night if you have availability to work on, not for 2 hours and 14 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. And just help you hone that. And we could bring the other people that are from Pat's tribe that we've connected with. There's like 3 other people.
Okay.
And they can, as they're available, come in and give you their input as well.
That sounds great.
Hopefully that won't
And hopefully I can help you guys with other things. I mean, I definitely bring stuff to the table as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way, like, here's where Deb was when she started.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, because of how we do net friending, where it's not just about one-to-one person giving advice,
right.
This is perspective from many who we've now befriended each other.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the end result. Deb's got her new business up and running, and
right.
here's all the...
April thinks she's a leader. She believes it in her heart, rather than people just telling her, faking it till she makes it.
There's that. So, that's what I'm putting on the table. And with that, we're all going to bed.
We're going to bed.
Where are you living? Where are you located?
I'm in New York. Are you in New York too? Did you say that? Or are you just on the East Coast?
No, I'm in Knoxville. But I was born in Brooklyn.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's why it's the Sister group. And I didn't even mention why I started the Sister channel. The Sisters channel was because there was originally a channel on Slack called Bros.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's gone now. I think they made it private. I don't know if he deleted it or they just whatever.
Oh, okay.
But I said, well, that's not fair. We need a Sisters channel in Pat's live stream the other day. And Ernest was like, yeah, do it. And I ended up doing it because I knew nobody else was going to do it. And Ernest sent me a direct message on Slack, and he said, because I'm going to read it because I can, loved that you took the initiative to create a channel for the women only. I've been waiting to see who'd make it. Thank you for taking ownership there. And he told me to make the channel private and monitor it and invite women, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And I think he wants feedback about how that's going, but the reason I did it was because I think a lot of times, not true all the time, that there's women, especially in the space of tech and podcasting and all that, that are maybe feeling like the men are so much in the know that they may not be asking things they really want to ask because they're afraid they're going to be judged.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I understand that.
So
I think you're right about that. I think a lot of women are intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
And even just in business in general. Oh, they must know more about business than I do. I'm just a girl.
Yeah. Oh, that's my line, right, Roy? I've been saying that for like how long? I'm like, I'm just a girl. Like,
that's over now, April.
I guess. So Roy's still putting up his quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. Okay, so I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go because we can be here all night. But I will see you in text inside the chat.
Yep.
And don't forget to do your Facebook thing whenever.
Okay, so I'm setting up I'm setting up a Facebook account. In other words, all right, I'll do it. It doesn't mean I have to go in full bore to the whole.
Right. Yeah.
I can do it for how it works for me at my level.
Right.
Make it a Facebook profile. Make it your first and last name. Okay. We can change your words and stuff like that. Put it underneath a description, but not in your name, because, and I'll tell you why later. So just your name, like we show up. April Roga, Roy Montero. Sometimes we put April 2.0. but just put your first and last name so we know you. We'll throw you literally into the inner circle and watch you grow.
Okay.
Techie wise, person wise, and now we wise, from me to we. And
I just want to know what you're eating. Where's mine?
Oh, it's Doritos, which flavored party size, the nacho cheese. Anyway, I got hungry, so I'm snacking on it. Deb, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for jumping in again and having a computer connection, because now this is way, way better. We love your words. I want to know more about that. Change your words, all of that. I'm going to help you with your mess to message, like I did with April.
Okay.
And what is going to be a win-win for me is that you allow me to record the stuff and say to other people, look at Deb 1.0, and now look at Deb now when she's doing what she's doing, because of not only me, but because of April, and like she said, all the other people that are here that want to give you their perspective. You don't have to take it. We're not giving you advice. We're not telling you what to do. We're just giving you more puzzle pieces so that you can go, oh my goodness, this was a missing piece. I need this, and I've got this, and blah, 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 blah. And then you'll be so excited that, you'll want to shout it from the rooftops, and we'll all shout each other out. That's what it's all about. So Deb, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. I think we can go far. Good night.
Agreed. Okay. Good night. Night, April.
Good night. Bye, everyone.